Oh my god. Oh my god. Is tonight, what is it? Wednesday? Is it Hump Wednesday? Holy shit. Welcome. Let's fucking do this shit. Let's like literally do this shit. Old school right here. Oh wait, wait, wait. What are we doing? Oh wait, hold on. What are we doing? Up.
Yo, yo, yo. How you doing?
Hi, Birdie. Wait,
I'm
Birdie, we got titties and tatties.
I love it. I love it.
People have been waiting for this.
Shit, I've been waiting for this too.
Wait.
I'm excited to be here.
Do you know what song I'm playing right now?
I'm gonna guess and go out on a limb that the actual name's not Titties and Tatties, but
Oh,
what is
it's
it?
close. It's Paperboy Diddy and Titties.
Titty and
that?
Titties.
Titties. I was like, what can I do for like a walk up song? Like I was like, oh man, he's tatted up. I can go with like I was like, what about this one though?
I like this one.
It's probably Birdie.
I love it.
All right, so let's get this party bumping.
Yes, let's do it. The
Wait,
only song that could have been worse is so my wife and I, before we got married, we went hard at Orange Theory. And every time that like snapback and tattoos came on, I'm like, this is the worst.
I thought about that. I thought about doing that one. And then I was like, but I love Birdman. And I'm like, I love that tap out song. You know Birdman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
I know that intro. Oh, yeah, this song's awesome. From OG Wayne.
And then I was like, oh my God, who do you think pulls more pussy? Birdie or Lana?
I love it.
They're like, damn, we're going to talk true crime though. Okay, we'll talk about girls later. Tell your wife I said hello.
I will. Mrs.
So have you okay, so I have a game that we're going to play. I'm going to ask you 7 questions. Okay. It's would you rather. So this is a way for those that don't know who you are, that they can kind of know who you are. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
So I'm going to ask you like a question, like, would you rather wear high heels or get a blowjob? And then before you answer, I'm going to give the audience a chance to guess what you would say. That way they can play with themselves and they can see how well they would do.
All right. I'm ready.
Are you ready for these 7 questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. Would you rather have a threesome with 2 girls and yourself or a guy and a girl and yourself?
The 2 girls.
Okay. So,
shoot. I did exactly what you told me not to do.
You know, we're just letting all the gay guys know you do not have a chance. You understand that? He was so quick. He's like, listen, I love you, Lana, and all your gay friends that are in here tonight, but we are not going that way.
I got to give a little bit more time for the chat to answer. I forgot.
See, okay. Now are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Would you rather do a shot solo or do a shot with me?
You tell me when to answer. Right now?
You can answer now.
I would rather do a shot with you.
Okay. So do you have a shot?
I do. I got a whole bucket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. You would have thought we like totally like we're backstage just like getting this prepped and ready, man.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
All right. Ready?
Yeah. Cheers.
Are we going to cheers to Bill Thompson?
And I believe, as you said, like it's cheers to Bill Thompson maybe not being a bitch anymore.
Oh my God, he is not a bitch anymore. Bill Thompson's over here like, hey guys, we're gonna lift the fucking gag order.
Yep.
Cheers to bitch swallowing the fireball.
Cheers.
Cheers, gag me. You brought a whole bucket.
I had it from what did I have that from?
I don't know.
When you were like, let's get lit tonight. I'm like,
yeah, I was
lit. I got a bucket of shots in my in my pantry. I'm gonna go grab them.
Wait, so those are warm?
Oh, terribly warm.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God, these are so cold. They're as cold as my Dyke bar over here, my Klondike.
No, these are piss warm, but that's all right.
All right, so you're okay. So number one, if you guys said that he would rather do a shot with me, give yourself a point. All right. Now, question 2 is, this may be like people are like, oh, I can't believe you asked that, but I'm good. Okay. Would you rather see Anjanette Levy naked or Ashley Banfield naked? I know. It's a tough one.
I feel confident in my answer.
Oh, you do?
Maybe.
If you cannot say neither.
No.
Okay. Come on, be honest. I mean, are you a brunette or a blonde? Be honest.
What do you think I would say?
I think that you're going to go Anjanette Levy.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Fuck yeah, Lana. Hell yeah. Let's get the Cetaphil out. Let's go ahead.
There was a lot of people that said Banfield.
Oh, Banfield. Wow. I would totally, that's all day. Angie. All day. Anybody with, I'm good. I think I picked the right one. Okay. So would you rather run a mile naked? Okay. Run a mile naked. Okay. Or crawl 100 meters.
Like fully clothed?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Crawl. You have to crawl the whole way.
100 meters, mile naked.
Yeah. I mean, that's 4 laps around is a mile. It's a long time. Balls just like,
yeah,
out, you know. I'd rather crawl, but what would you rather do?
as long as it's not freezing cold out, I'm probably gonna live a little, and I'll run the mile.
You'll run the mile naked? Oh my God, I love it. What a ballsy bitch.
Oh all right. Man, that's funny.
All right. Would you rather? We're gonna get into like some like, okay. Would you rather take science class, right? Science class or communications class? What do you guys think? Come on. What do you think Birdie would say? I mean, I know what I would say. I'm going to totally say communications class. I'll do math all day. Science, fucking get it all. I get whoops. So I'm going to go. I think he's going to say communications, but what would you rather take, a science class or a communications class?
I would rather take a communications class. But that was actually a pretty hard one because I would do either. I'm like one of those. Yeah, I was like one of those people where like when I'm like, oh, school came easy to me.
Oh
like
yeah,
it was. I liked it. I did good at all of it. But if I had to pick, I'd pick.
Okay. And what was that number? Was that 4?
That was 4.
Okay, good. Okay, so number 5. If you were stranded on an island, would you rather have a plane with no pilot? Okay, plane with no pilot, or one like Aladdin wish?
Are there limits to the wish?
One wish.
No restrictions.
Better be a good ass wish, man. You can either have a plane with no pilot, it's got fuel and all that bullshit, or you can have one Aladdin wish. You better be creative.
Well, the funny part about this is that in case of that situation, I've watched how to land a plane in an emergency situation on YouTube. I don't know if I could fly it.
I would rather have a plane, me, all day. Give me a plane. I will figure it out. I only got one wish. What if I fuck it up? I'm in the ocean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd be like, I wish there was a pilot that knew how to fly a plane here.
Right. You know but I mean? I can have a fucking plane and fucking man, I have a plane. Like I'll teach myself that shit.
I would probably take the wish. I would take the wish.
Oh, you would take the wish?
Yeah, especially if I was stranded.
So like what would be your wish then?
Like,
get me off this fucking island.
Yeah, get me off this island, or get me a pilot that knows how to
It could
fly.
put you in another island though.
And then I would say like I would give like
you'd be like very specific,
like ultra specific.
All right, and that's where we're kind of going with this. Like you are the most conspiracy theorist motherfucker out here, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's why I asked you that. I was like, would you rather? So wait, what are we at? Now, this is going to be 6 right here, right?
Yeah, you're on 6 here.
Okay. So would you rather have no viewers watching you and you get to talk about what you want to talk about, or have 1 million people watch you and somebody scripts you up?
I hope people know the answer to that one.
Okay. I just want to see. I mean, think about it. So I'm going to guess. I'm going to say, I don't care if nobody's watching me. I get to say whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, that is what I would go with. And like, this is how I talk to my buddies. You know, my mother-in-law's in town. So my wife had surgery today, and I was just absolutely blowing her doors off about how Brian Coburger and all.
Oh my God, I bet you said I was blowing her. I'm like, oh my God. I was totally blowing my wife after surgery.
Oh man, no. I was just like, all theories. I started with like the mainstream narrative. I went
all theories,
completely
no
down the
facts.
rabbit hole. She was like, Jesus Christ, this surgeon needs to hurry up. I can't take any more of this.
Because she's like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, so you have a wife, and she's just like, yeah, babe, whatever you want to talk about. And you're like, man, what about this? And she's just like, yeah, that sounds great, babe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had to like ease into it a little bit when we first started dating. Like, I was super big into like the mud flood. If you've ever heard of that.
No, sure haven't. What's the mud flood?
So it was like this cataclysmic event, and if you go into like any city in any downtown city, you'll notice that all of the buildings, their windows are like below the surface. And a lot of people say that it was like this giant mud flood, and it happened all over the world because nobody would ever build buildings where you have to like dig down, and it looks like the steps are placed into a certain area where they'd be halfway up a door if you're talking like architecture and structures and things like that. So
wait, that's how like you were like, I love mud floods.
Well, no, it was a little bit more calculated because I had to like kind of feel her out. Like, we'd go on walks downtown in Milwaukee, and there's a lot of old buildings, and I would just
you're from Milwaukee.
Yep, from Milwaukee, and I would float
Born
things
and
out
raised?
there. Born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised, and I would just kind of float things out there on walks where I'm like, don't you think it's kind of weird how these windows are like way down there? Like, how did they build those? And I would just kind of ease into the question.
Yeah, see, Dawn, she's like, I just love you. You're hilarious. She wants to have your baby.
So, Dawn started the Discord. She's the MVP.
Oh God, Dawn, you Discord motherfucker. How do you do that? I mean, God, Discord I heard is just dirty. Okay.
The Hive's been pretty good.
You guys don't get dirty with it.
Not that I've seen.
Okay. I love you, Milwaukee says women. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So number 7 I get. Okay. Would you rather be a public defender or be a prosecutor? Let the crowd pick here. What do they say? I know it's always a tough one, you know, for me. I'm like, if I'm a prosecutor though, if I was a DA, then I get to decide who the fuck I'm prosecuting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you say?
Well, I think that comment, honestly, just kind of, I was completely on the fence because I like how you get to decide who you're going to prosecute. But as a defender, I also think if I was at like an elite level of a defense attorney where you could like work pro bono on certain cases, like that would be fun. That would be more fun than choosing who to prosecute, in my opinion. Yeah,
but then we can prevent. So the reason I would pick prosecutor is because I would make sure that we are not prosecuting people that we shouldn't be prosecuting. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
I would totally be able to. I feel like for myself, I would make sure that I'm not prosecuting a motherfucker. Like I got values, I got morals, and I can't be bought. So motherfucker, make me a DA.
Would you release the Epstein list right now?
Absolutely.
Good.
Transparency, baby, all day. All day. And then I started thinking about it. So this is a funny story. I was like, I want to be a defense attorney. And I'm like, fuck no, I want to be a fucking prosecutor because I can make sure like that we don't like prosecute wrong people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck this. After the fucking Coburger case, I want to be a goddamn judge.
No shit. No shit.
Like, fuck shit.
Yeah. That's so true.
So welcome to Truth and Transparency. I'm not sure if you know this, but the state's response to the coalition of the media organizations' motion to be heard as interested parties and motion to vacate non-dissemination order. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Bill Thompson decided to take his dick and put it in his own ass after he's like, hey, we want to keep this non-dissemination order intact. He comes out and he's like, hey, we want to put another motion in because we have a response to the coalition. And just so we're clear, I'm going to put it here. This is the newly piece here. I just want to add it to the screen just so that we can say, hey, look at this shit. What do you think about this? Boom. Here it is. So Bill Thompson writes all this jibba jabba. The defendant pleaded guilty on July 2nd to all charges in this case. At the change of plea hearing, the court asked the parties for their position on whether the non-dissemination order in this case should be maintained. The state requested, and the court granted the request for the non-dissemination order to remain in effect through sentencing. But Bill Thompson says, but I want to suck off Steve Gonsalves. And upon further reflection, the state withdraws its request. Now that the defendant has pleaded guilty as charged. So it's like Bill Thompson is ready for the microphone. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, man? Like, but he says it like this. He's like, we withdraw that request, but now the defendant, like, he's like, but we'll just do whatever you want. But if you don't want to do it, like, we won't do it. Nonetheless, right here, out of respect for the integrity of the judicial system and the privacy of the victims and their families, as they consider their right to provide victim impact statements in sentencing, the prosecution, our team does not intend to make any public statements about this case until after sentencing. So if you want to have it some other type of way, like we're cool with it, but just so we're clear, is we don't want to seem like some pussies that we got anything to hide. How are you taking this? Did you even know about it, or?
Well, yeah, I had known about it just from watching a couple of videos earlier in the day, like I said, while I was in the waiting room. But like, I'm not too sure how to read that. I agree that Bill Thompson.
Yeah, he's just trying to not be a bitch anymore, right?
Yeah, that's like probably the best way to sum it up. I think it's odd that the prosecution doesn't intend to say anything until after sentencing. I think that.
Yeah, that means that they're just going to be like, here's the families, here's the victims, here's whoever speaking. We have nothing to say. Like, they're basically saying, we're not saying a word, because I think this has to do with, in my opinion, we have no idea what Brian Coburger is going to do.
Something tells me in my gut that it's the last we're going to see Brian Coburger on TV. I don't think there's going to be a plot twist, and that says something coming from me. I don't think there's going
to be a plot twist either. So you're going to.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay.
No.
This is so morbid, and obviously I don't like wish this upon anybody, but I bet like within a year on the news it'll be like Brian Coburger gets whacked in prison. And
like you think he's gonna die?
Yeah, I mean, or there'll be a story. There'll be a story about him dying, and like, I don't want to throw the tinfoil hat on right away, but a lot of that with the state not saying anything until after sentencing, to me, there has to be a reason for it other than just wiping their hand. Like, it seems too simple of like, no, we're not going to say anything. What
would they say at sentencing? Like, I mean, I feel like, what would I say at sentencing that, I mean, I guess Steve said he's not saying anything. He's not even showing up. Who knows? Maybe Bill is like, hey, Steve, we're not saying anything. Have at it type of thing. Do you think
that'd be super interesting? I'd be curious to hear like what Steve would have to say that he hasn't said in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's just like a bigger, more focused stage he would make his. Is it in the book? What you think? What they think he would say, or?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, it's not. I mean, he thinks Bill Thompson's a complete fucking idiot. He fucking hates Bill Thompson. I'd hate Bill Thompson if I was him too. He thinks Bill's a pussy. And that's why I was like, dude, I want Steve up here right now.
What if he just walked up and said that? Bill, you're a pussy.
You're a pussy.
Oh my God. I could see if there's anybody that would do that, it would be him.
Yeah, and myself.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But it's like, I mean, in that position, I would probably do something similar to that too. Like, what is there to lose? I mean, he's very clearly unhappy about how everything is gone.
Yeah, totally, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I would say it. If I had feelings about, like, Bill, you told me don't say anything. We're gonna keep the case in Moscow. You lose. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Literally, Bill didn't do shit. The only person that literally helped the families is Hitler. But then, unfortunately, Hitler then just shat all over them when he did his last spiel. But literally, Anne was winning hand over fist, and it was just like, do you really want to move it out of Moscow? But maybe she was like, hey, they're letting us get all of this, and then trust me, how they work it all is that we're not going to get those calls in trial type of thing. But it's like, do you really want those calls in trial? Because everything that Anne was trying to do, if you think about it, if it would have stayed in Moscow, do things happen differently there? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, I think they for sure would. I think they for sure would happen a little bit differently. And
like if Judge would have heard the Franks hearing, if Judge would have heard the suppression hearing, and I just keep thinking to myself, I'm like, the last person that I would ever want to be in front of is Judge Hitler if I was Ann Taylor.
I think Hitler, as weird as it sounds, I feel like Hitler is probably trusted by the state more. Like, meaning, like, if you were the state, you'd probably rather have Hitler as your judge. And if you're, I mean, I don't know. I don't even 100. Think both of them are that. Yeah, but it's like, I just think Hitler is like, quote unquote, trusted more by the prosecution. So if the state puts it out, I feel like Hitler kind of gives the state the benefit of the doubt. With the exception in this case of when the leaks and the Dateline thing happened, that was like the only really like change in like attitude I felt like towards the prosecution when he got back, and he was really only looking at the prosecution about the leaks, and then he was like, oh, and the defense, you too. Like, that was probably the only time that I really kind of saw him hold the state accountable.
But he really, that was, it was. I think it's best said when he's like, let's not start off with a lie. Mm-hmm. I'm not happy to be here, type of thing.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you said you'd want to be a prosecutor, but I'm going to ask you to, in this case, be a defense attorney. Would you have put Brian Coburger on the stand?
In this case?
Yeah.
With him not saying anything? I mean, what? I would have to see the discovery. But if my client wanted me to have him put him on the stand, I would put him on the stand.
You would? I would too. I think there was a strategy there to where, because he was so silent, if he could have, rather than
Brian Coburger wanted to be on the stand, but do I think Ann Taylor, like, I'd have to see the discovery.
Yeah.
You know, if I'd have to see the discovery.
Let's say that, like, it was like the discovery is what we would
publicly.
Yeah. I would do it. I would put him on the stand, or I'd be okay with it.
This is why the only reason I wouldn't. Okay.
I'm gonna take another shot, Lana.
Okay. Well, here we go. The only reason I wouldn't put him on the stand is, like, what we have publicly, they would never convict him, so I wouldn't need to. Does that make sense?
That's a good point. I was bringing that up from a strategy about just like the victim impact statements. If prior to that, and he's on the stand and he's being questioned, because he stayed so silent, my thought was, how would he come across to the jury? And if he has a story to tell where, rather than being this like creeper, stalker,
that's why it was so important to Ann Taylor, though. That's why it was so important to Ann Taylor. She's like, the way that he comes across as this, you know, that's why it's so important for Ann Taylor to say, hey, he has Asperger's. Hey, he's autistic, because that would totally change the way that me, and if it does not change the way that come on, guys, it's going to change everybody's perspective if you were able to hear that. It was the same thing with the Karen Reed case. They were not allowed to talk about her her medical issue unless it was able to be brought up unless the prosecution opened the door. And that's where the proctor text messages opened the door.
And that's where I think with Brian, was there an opportunity for a strategy where you could, rather than frame going off of what you just said, like segueing off that, like autistic, obsessive scholar. And maybe in the jury's mind, they then look at it as like, oh, he's not like a loner, weird stalker. He's
just a nerd.
Autistically obsessive about criminology, and that's what he's going to be a PhD in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just know for me, if you have anybody that's on the jury, you're going to start getting empathetic about like, oh, wait, I'm not about to judge somebody that's, I hate to say this word, retarded. You know what I mean? Like, think about somebody that would be like handicapped. They're going to be like, I'm not going to judge a handicapped person that way. You know? So when I would, if I was to hear that he was autistic versus not hearing that he was autistic, whether it's spectrum, whether it's whatever, you hear that, that would change anybody's opinion of then judging somebody by the cover of the book. You know what I mean?
I would find it very rare, if not almost like implausible, that it would actually take someone the opposite side and be like would go harder on them. I don't think that would happen. Like 9.9 times out of 10.
I would think it would help. Like it would save his life. Like if you hear that, but before it gets to the phase of picking if it's what type of punishment you would have, I would think to myself, how the fuck did this or anybody kill somebody in 6 minutes?
Right.
4
I
people.
totally agree.
4 fucking people. I want to hear about this. You know? So that's going to bring us to, here we go, the Idaho Four, an American tragedy. So what I've picked out is what I deem the most 25. It's the top 25. Think about it as sports terms. You know, like, here we go. It's top 25. We're going to rattle them all off. Okay. And I did it in a way that's like some stuff we've known about. Some stuff could be clashing with things that we've heard before. But what I've done here is I've created some way of a... Okay. We're going to start with my first bomb. We're going to start with Papa motherfucking Rogers.
I love it.
Papa Rogers, okay? First of all, it's in a different way. You guys, this book right here, fatty book. I mean, James Patterson, well-known, very well-known. Vicky Ward. I would be straight up embarrassed as fuck, though, if this reminds me of, I'm having Vanessa Walsh PTSD and her little team over there. On chapter 76, I labeled it, here, I'm going to do this, and I labeled it the Papa Rogers chapter. But it's the people from the Facebook group, and they get interjected into this book. And it says Kristen Cameron and Alina Smith, the 2 administrators of the University of Idaho case discussion Facebook group, they start noticing some unusual posts from a member going by the name of Papa Rogers. My question to you is, do you believe that Papa Rogers would be more... If it was Brian Coburger, we would hear about it. We would know about it, okay?
Yep.
I believe that Papa Rogers is law enforcement. Thoughts?
I 100% agree. I actually think that even the people that were responding to Brian Coburger's Reddit survey were law enforcement.
Oh, like back all that way?
Yeah, but on the short answer, I do believe that Papa Rogers could have been law enforcement. I don't think it's a stretch to think that law enforcement goes on social media and poses as somebody that they're not in order to either extract information or take a temperature check of like who knows what.
Yeah. And see, the reason I think that if it was Brian Coburger, you guys, you don't understand. He would have had to use his phone, his computer. We would know because it would be in his, we would know. He would have used a digital device. Like, I mean, he's using a device to be Papa Rogers. It would be out there. For people to think that Papa Rogers is motherfucking Brian Coburger and that shit has not like been, yep. Mm-hmm. Y'all are nuts. I promise you this right now. I will fucking bet my channel on it. Papa Rogers is not Brian Coburger. If it was, it's so like, Jesus Lord, it's there. It's like, that's like that would cut Brian Coburger's neck off versus the DNA, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be one thing that would not be like a conspiracy. Is like, was Papa Rogers?
Oh yeah, no, like you would come with that.
Yep. You want to know who else I don't think it was?
Okay, so the date that this happened on, by the way, was November 30th. Is the day right after they found his car. Okay.
Okay.
So what I think is really telling is the date. Ready for this? I'm going to read you guys something. Chapter 77, page 256 and 257. Blaine Eccles arrives an hour early to go through the last minute checks. He sees a crowd of about 30 young people all dressed alike. Despite himself and the gravity of the situation, he chuckles. They're undercover FBI agents. He says, in quotes, I don't know who told them all to dress like college students, end quote. He said, but they all look like lumberjacks. Plaid shirts, blue jeans, and boots. Now, think about the people that went into the house on 12-10, 12-6, 12-6. Remember, everybody was like, who are the cowboys that went into the house? It was the undercover motherfucking FBI people. And basically, this book tells us that, and I'm going to share it here so that you guys can see that the book basically tells us, here it is, chapter 77. And I said, look at my notes, cowboys, after I read this bottom part that goes into right here. And it was about on the night of the vigil. Okay. And I was like, hot damn, boom. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, those people were dressed the same way that if you read this book, they're saying that they had 30 undercover FBI agents, women and men. One of the women was actually following Ethan's brother, Hunter Chapin. And they were dressed like this right here. And it's boom. There you go. So you guys want to know who your cowboys were? There you go. They're the undercover FBI team.
Yeah. I think that news interview where that woman was standing outside and they all walk out and they kind of duck their heads. Yeah. That should tell almost everybody that
they went. That was on the.
There's no doubt almost at that point.
Yeah. I think that was on the 6th that they went in there.
I believe it was the 6th. And I've said for a long time that there was like a parallel investigation going on already where the feds were on campus and they kind of made this plea with everybody like, hey, we're too small of a police department. We can't handle this. But if you were to look at the narrative and just the narrative alone, there's 2 relatively large college campuses within 10 miles. How is a
border?
Yeah. Like, how are you not able to handle a multi-victim homicide? And you could say, oh, they're not ready for that level of media. Well, if you take the Amazon thing with a grain of salt, the mayor was ready to go off that the media person's not taking this.
Yeah, so that's part of the chapters. So we're going to get into that when the mayor was like, you guys need to get in front of this. You guys need to get out here. We need to put a badge behind the mic type of thing. And that's actually number 24 of my top 25. So before I get to that, though, because it kind of like rounds out, I want to go to, if anybody watched my earlier episode, give a shout out to the girls of the house of 1122 King Road. They trolled the sororities. So it is a fact here now that, when I say fact, 320 people were interviewed for this book. Okay. I'm going to take James Patterson as word for that. Because I'm also going to take into the fact of what I've gathered over 3 years. And I've never understood, and now it's clear to me. These girls all left these sororities, and I fucking love it. Like, I fucking love it. Kudos to these girls. They were like, fuck this shit. These are mean girls. Like, the sororities are a mean girls type of, atmosphere. we don't want any part of it. And they're money hungry and they want us to pay for shit that like during COVID, we weren't even living there. Fuck all. Okay. Well, then they went as far as to troll the sororities on November 11th, 11/11, Friday night. So when we all saw that Dylan posted to say that Kaylee was her +1, you guys, this is what's awesome about it. Dylan and Kaylee and Maddie and Xana and all their little friends in the group that's about the book, they posted all that shit on social media, had everybody come to their house, get all dressed up. They were acting like they were going to crash the actual formal Pi-Fi event. Okay. But they were never going to it. They were trolling it because they had their own, none of them went to it. They had their own little party at their house, but they were trying to like trick, like, and have these people think at the Pi-Fi house that, oh my God, these bitches and they're going to fucking come and show up. Are you fucking kidding me? All right. But then what they really did, none of them showed up. They stayed at their own 1122 King. They had their own formality. And they had all these people at their house throwing a fucking party and saying, fuck you, bitch. Like, I was like, fuck yes. I loved it.
If anybody hasn't seen your live for that portion when you tell the story, it's so, you tell it really well. And also how you relate it back to yourself on how like you can relate to that, because the way you told it, I related to it. And I was mind blown. I'm like, wait, that makes so much more sense. And then I'm sure you're about to get to it with like, they had to be sober, but they had started drinking earlier, so they couldn't have. It's actually an epic plan from their end.
Oh yeah, they trolled the fuck out of them, and I'm like, hell yeah. And so, so for everybody that's been like, when people say, Lana, why are you keep covering this? I'm like, I'm not covering Brian guilt or innocence. I am covering, for 3 years, people have asked me questions about like, well, what was going on in this night and what was going on in that night. So I'm over here putting a timeline together, okay, of everything. And it's like all the sources, right? So you may have like 6 things that are said that happen on a night. Here, this is this source. Here, this is this source. This is a source. But guys, we finally got to the bottom of it. And I'm so happy to announce that I love it. I love the fact that you can say whatever. Obviously, everybody's dead that's dead, okay? But before they died, they got one over on those motherfuckers, those fucking bitches. And I fucking love it. Okay. I love the fact that Kaylee, Maddie, everybody that was in their court group got one over on those fucking prissy ass mean girl bitches. I fucking called it. I said it. I knew it. I was like, dude, there's no way that those girls they wouldn't even be invited. They wouldn't even be allowed to go there. I was like, that would cause some drama ass shit. I was like, fuck yeah. And here it is 3 years later. I was like, told you asses. Here it is. Boom. I love it. I love it. Fucking troll those sorority sluts.
Well, it made a ton of sense for me when you said it, like, or when you had said that, because I've always wondered, why is DM inviting Kaylee as a +1 and then you see them not together the entire night, but then you break down the Instagram post and it's like, okay, so that takes out a relatively large chunk of quote unquote like sketchiness with DM and the whole Kaylee thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it explains still the delay or all that other stuff.
It explains the whole, like, she didn't lure her down there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There is no luring her down there. Like, that matters. And so people that think that Dylan's like scandalous, no, Dylan didn't lure anybody, you guys. They trolled the fuck out of the sorority, and I goddamn love it. And I'm the only one over here spraying it out there, but it's right here in the book. And please share it. That's my top 25. Number 25 is the troll on the fucking sororities, and I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It was great. It's a pretty like smart chess move if you want to get back to somebody when you're leaving the school. Yeah.
We're gonna go to top 20. Well, it's now the number 24 spot. Which is, we're gonna talk about Brian's MO. All right. Brian's MO, his whole entire life, according to this book, is Brian is a user. And like any other user out there, they like to steal things and they're going to turn them in, whether they pawn them, sell them, what, in any capacity. Then they turn around and take the cash, or exchange it, and then they get the drugs, right? So if Brian is so notorious for, and how he steals things is he goes into people's houses when they don't think that they're either there or now thinking about sleeping. But with that type of MO, if he is breaking into people's places or like going into people's places to steal things, to like sell, to use drugs, doesn't that change the whole thought process on, did Brian go there to kill, or did Brian go there to steal stuff, drugs or money, or because he thought that this house had shit that he could use to then facilitate his habit?
Well, it does provide some context into thinking like that. And I wanted to share this with you because I don't know if you heard this or if anybody in your chat has heard this. I had Brian's friend Will on. Now, if you watched that interview, it was, kind of awkward. Will, I don't know how he really is on camera. Normally, I was glad that he agreed to come on and talk about it, but he had texted me 3 days later and he said, "Hey, you and your co-host had asked me a question that has stuck with me. And it was, do you think Brian was a Fed or do you think Brian was a CI?" And he goes, "I don't think he was a Fed. But now that you say that," he's like, "we would go pick up bundles of H. I never once saw him shoot up."
Who? Wait, what?
So
somebody came on your channel to say, "Hey, me and Brian bought H."
Yeah. So do you remember that dude? His name was Will. He kind of like snapped on all these creators. He called it.
Truth Nation.
Yeah.
Really?
So he came on my show.
Yeah.
And I had asked him, I'm like, "Do you think Brian was a Fed? Do you think he was a CI?" And when we were asking him these questions, he paused. He didn't pause for the Fed, but when we asked the CI, he took like a 5 to 10 second pause. And then that's when I was saying 3 days later, he's like, "There's a question that I can't get out of my head now that you asked if he was an informant," because he would go with me. I never once saw him shoot up, ever.
Oh, wait. Okay. Well, he would go with him.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't. But I would just say this, like, I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at it this way: is when people want to say, why would one person be killed if they were going in there to kill one person, and how does 4 people get killed? How about this? What if you weren't really going in there to kill anybody and then you killed people?
I totally agree with that. And to answer your question in the short answer, it does change that light, because if he was going in to have a quick come up for something to pawn or maybe just rob them of their drugs, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like, if Brian Coburger's MO, like if you read this book and you listen to all the different chapters that actually have something to do with Brian Coburger and his past, it was that him and his friends stole from their parents, okay? Or he would go into houses, but it was always somebody that he knew. And, "Oh, when are you going to go?" Like one of the guys that died, that overdosed in one of the chapters, Brian didn't necessarily, it wasn't that situation, but it was a situation before that where the kid had gotten in trouble and he got put in jail. And so he asked the parents when they were going to go see him, like, "I'll meet you at the jail to go visit my friend." And so he found out the time and the date, and then he waited for them to actually leave the house. And then that's when Brian Coburger supposedly went into this person's house and then stole from that person. That is something that drug addicts do. That's part of the book. That's one of the chapters. And so if you think about it, okay, if Brian Coburger is trying to score drugs or trying to steal stuff to then score drugs, because that's his MO. Like that's what 3 different occasions was. Brian didn't use. Girl, I love you to death. Brian used. Brian was a user. Brian did drugs, just so you know. Like, you heard it here. If you don't believe it, Brian did drugs. He used drugs. You understand that? Like, he did heroin. He used drugs. That was what he did. Okay? People use it and then get clean. People also bump off the wagon. My point is, with this book, there's chapters in here, and if you want to hear it out of the horse's mouth, all right, but a woman and a man, 2 different occasions, Brian Coburger was supposed to go see the kid, finds out when they're going, and then their house gets ransacked. Okay. The point of the matter is that going into somebody's house to rob or burglarize with the intent to steal something, that's what he was going there for. Every time he's ever done anything, to escalate, to kill and stab 4 human beings to the point that they are dead, right? That isn't his MO. That's never been his MO.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're talking simply the motivation for being at the house. I agree. I don't think he went wanting to kill.
What I'm trying to say is that if you read this book, what this book tells you about different chapters is it talks about Brian's past, and the way this book is broken up is like chapter. So, for example, the blame game, it goes to that part, and it's let's go to this one. Let's pick. I want to pick this guy. Okay. The Christ Church is in here a lot, by the way. And I think it's interesting because the Christ Church has a very interesting outlook. I love it. The Christ Church is like, listen, we want y'all to fuck this case up because it will show how fucking biased you guys are, because my grandson is being charged with shit. So I want you guys to look like a bunch of fools, okay? It's amazing. This book, I'm telling you, go buy it if you've spent 3 years of your life and you're not going to go pay $22. I'm telling you, go pay $22 on Amazon and you need to get this book. I promise you.
I'm buying it right now too.
I promise you need to get this book. Just because I've covered it for 3 years, and I'm telling you, the shit that's in here, you want to hear it. So Brian's friend, Mark. Well, Mark's the dad, but Mark has 3 kids. Brian Coburger's friend is one of them. This guy calls up to the police station and he's like, hey, I know who now stole all of this shit from me after all these years. It's Brian Coburger. I was telling you guys this a long time. It was 30 grand worth of shit, man. 30 grand. 30 grand. Oh, yeah. Well, hold on. I want to highlight this. Can we just listen to Bella when you go to bed? Don't be a bitch. Twiz, you're about to get your box rocked when fucking Cy comes on for my interview. If you think that Cy was fucking hired to free Brian Coburger, Cy was hired, okay, because of what he does for a living. So y'all are.
That's a good way to put it. Like, as an expert, right? And like with the credentials, like you're saying, he was called in because he would be able to explain it in a certain way.
I think personally, Cy probably got involved. It has nothing to do with Brian Coburger. I think Cy wanted to take on the FBI.
Whoa.
Yeah, because this has been going on for a long time. Because the FBI has been lying about what cast does and what cast shows for a long time. That's what I think. So if you think that Cy was sought out and Taylor was like, oh my God, I'm going to go get Cy, I think you guys are all mistaken. So if you guys want to hear about Cy, we'll have an interview with Cy when the gag order is lifted.
Yeah, that's awesome that you have an interview with him coming up, or with them coming up. I was going to say, real quick, I'm just curious, like, was there any part when you started the book where there was like, this seems like just too much of a quote unquote narrative consolidation? Was there any parts?
No, because I found a lot of things that were wrong.
Okay.
That's what I love about the book. What I love about the book is that there's contradictions. And so you have to read the book in order to, if you've been following the case, like, you want to digest the information and you want to lay it all out. And then you want to take all the sources that you do have and lay it all out. And then you want to cross-reference. And when you do all of that, it's interesting what the book leaves out. The book doesn't mention anything to do with the Brent Kapaka situation. How the fuck does it not? How does this book have... Don't you think you'd want to ask somebody a question that, hey, there was a shooting, right? And it has nothing to do with it was supposedly called in as a guy was threatening to kill the roommates, right? And that's just what happened a month this book doesn't even talk about it, you know? And so
That's
for
actually,
me, that's a red flag.
We were talking about Kopaka on the street or on my stream the other day. Is it a rumor or is it true? Is there a public incident report of, because somebody said there's no public incident report. Is that of the shooting or is that of the call of the threat? Do you know what that person would have been referencing?
Wait, what do you mean? Repeat
so
that.
So we were talking about obviously Kopaka getting shot and killed by SWAT, right? So somebody said, but there's no public incident report of that. And then I started thinking,
yeah, there's.
But does that mean was it one or the other? Like, is there a public incident report of the shooting, but there's not of the call, or does it all get conglomerated into one?
I have it all. I've already put that all out.
Okay.
There's all there's information on that. Okay. Just go to my Kopaka stuff on here, yeah. And by the way, if you really want, go download that shit because people are trying to come for my shit. When I say they're trying to come for my shit, anytime I post anything to do with Brett Kopaka, they come and they try to delete it by striking it. And so all of the stuff that I have with Brett Kopaka, go in there and grab it. But I've gone about it a different way to put the information out. But they try to get it anyway to strike it, to get it down.
That's one event that no matter how many people want to say that I'm a tinfoil hat person, I refuse to believe, even if I didn't have my tinfoil hat on, that he does not have something to do with this story.
Well, I think regardless on if he has something to do with the story, I know that he was one of the 4 people that were listed as the alternate perpetrator. But more importantly, and you would do that if you're Ann Taylor all day, every day. But more importantly, the story that they're trying to say happened that night did not happen that way. And the same person that found Brett Kopaka's car, or I'm sorry, Brian Coburger's car, Daniel Tanego, they all they lied, except I found one report that proved that Daniel Tanego was actually somewhere that nobody else said that he was, which was on that premises at the time that Daniel Tanego was there, and they try to make it seem like that he didn't get there until 10:30. He was there. He was there way earlier, and they lied about it. And that's the same person that found Brian Colbert's car. So that's the person I would deep dive is Daniel Tanego if people want to know, the truth.
It's surprising Kopaka wasn't brought up in the book. I agree with that. How is that not even mentioned? As far as even
it should just be mentioned in the book that on December 15th this is what happened.
Right.
That part sucks for me. I think that they did him so wrong. I think there's a lot more to that story. And no, do I think that Brent Kopaka had anything to do with the murders? No. But do I think that he could have possibly been there? Could he have been a witness? Could he have? Yes. I feel like he was swatted. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yep.
This boy was swatted. For whatever reason that motherfucker was swatted, he was swatted, and Jordan Baker needs to be waterboarded. That's how I feel. Treat him like a fucking military person. Waterboard the fuck out of Jordan Baker. That's how I feel. Jordan Baker's a lying piece of shit. I have no problem saying that. That's my opinion. Fucking come at me. My First Amendment right.
Have you ever been waterboarder? I'm just curious. We did that one time in college when our power
waterboard that mother.
We did that to each other. We literally we wanted to see who could be quote unquote waterboarded the longest with chew in their mouth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it's bullshit. Dude, this is a fucking somebody that fought for our country. How do you just gun him down? What are you doing? You don't fucking throw shit into a room. You don't gas this motherfucker out. What are you thinking? All those Pullman cops knew this shit. They were told that he has PS. Fuck them, man. You were fucking trained. This isn't what you would. This is how you treat our military, man. I will fuck you up with my words. Fuck them. And I will name every single person that was at that fucking house or apartment. Fuck you. You guys suck dick. You guys are so shitty. Go ahead and get your meth head, motherfuckers. Woo! Go ahead, stir it up. All you guys do is fucking rotate your shit. Fuck you. Pullman's trash. Moscow's trash. Y'all are trash. But keep fucking stirring it up because all you fucking do is have your little fucking junkies go and fucking CI for your fucking tickets so you can make your fucking quotas. Fuck y'all. Liars. What happened to that man is shit. For you to take out a fucking man, fuck that.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it's a well-warranted rant. And also too, you can't tell me that when they pull up the address or whoever the report comes in, that they're not pulling papers and they're not going to see, oh, he's a vet. Oh,
they knew it. They knew it. The girl told
exactly.
them. The girl did it. I have all the papers. They knew that shit at 8:59. 8:59. He was shot at fucking 4:00 in the morning. Fuck you guys. And for his fucking family, now I know how shitty his family is. Fucking Darren Duncan have the balls to kill my fucking channel now. You want to talk? Darren Duncan, let's talk. I have your fucking interview, bitch. I have your fucking, it's all recorded. I have all that shit. I haven't put out dick yet. Wait till this gag order is lifted. Wait till mama gets on that shit. Brian Coburger may be guilty as fucking hell. Hell yeah, he fucking said he was guilty. This has nothing to do with that shit, bitch.
I love it.
Brian Coburger, he said he was guilty. Fry that motherfucker. Because how I would feel is if I was the DA, I wouldn't be taking no fucking... Dude, I'd be over there telling the Gonsalves, this bitch wants a plea deal. I'm going to make him fucking drown in his dick. That's what I would be saying. You think I'm going to fucking sell out after we've gone 3 years to give this piece of shit a goddamn plea deal? Fuck no, you're guilty. I want to fry your fucking ass. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let the Gonsalves shoot your fucking ass up, bitch. Because what the fuck? Why would you drag everybody through this shit? For you to say, oh, Bill Thompson says, okay, let's set a plea deal. The fuck out of here. Why do you guys have the fucking death penalty? Light some motherfuckers up or don't have it. Because you know what I see your plea deal is? I see that when you guys have this, I'm sorry, your not plea deal, but your little death penalty bullshit. Oh, we're going to give him the death penalty. That's your little fucking token chip to get out. Hey, we'll let you off. Just plead guilty and we'll take the death penalty off the table. Fuck y'all. Get out of here, man. And Brian Coburger for taking the plea deal and his family, y'all pussies. If you're mucking, if Brian Coburger is so innocent, you want to know what the fucking families I fucking go to bat for? The Sheldon Jeter Juniors of the world. I'm not going to say that I killed 4 fucking people if I didn't kill 4 fucking people when I have fucking 4 goddamn fucking lawyers repping my shit. Are you on fucking crack? The people that say that they fucking did something like that are the people that don't have lawyers, not people that have lawyers. Wake up. This is about something totally different for me. Our rights were so violated in this case, and everybody does. You guys don't care. Well, I can't wait for it to happen to your family when they are actually innocent, because 30% of the time they are innocent. And so if it means that Brian Coburger goes free because we have to fucking show the world what the FBI and the fucking state police and the local law enforcement does to us, if that means that Brian Coburger goes free, then that's what it means, because no innocent person should ever be behind bars because these fucking cops think that they are above the law, because they ain't. This asshole who couldn't even graduate from high school goes to be a fucking cop, that who one day becomes a detective and who one day wants to put somebody in prison, and he can't even think for himself because he's a dumbass. That's who's putting us away. Are you fucking on? Come on, man. Meanwhile, we all go get educations and pay tons of dollars, and then we get fucked over by some fucking dude that couldn't even fucking pass the GED. Awesome. Suck my tits. No fucking way. So if that means that Brian Coburger goes free so that the innocent people like Sheldon Jeter Juniors of the world don't get fucking... Dude, you cannot let people take our rights away. And for this case, for me, from day one, go watch all my motherfucking videos. I said, you guys, how did they get to Brian Coburger? How did they get to Brian Coburger? They violated our rights to get to Brian Coburger. That's how. And you know what? I got a problem with that. But guess what? If you're a parent, you're like, I don't care what the fuck you had to do. Yep. Get my fucking person that killed my kid. So that's why I always said, I'll give the most grace to the parents and the family. I get it. Well, how about this? How would you just tell the parent who the fuck did it? let him go take care of it then. But you cannot tweak and do shit that makes us not believe in our government. You cannot do that. You just can't do that. Sorry.
No, that honestly, that was an all-time rant as far as like the accuracy and the emotion and the overreach on American rights is completely spot on. I feel the exact same way. It bothers me how Ann Taylor stands up in court and says, Your Honor, my client is innocent. And then she's smiling at him at the plea deal. Right? You have
Ann Taylor has disappointed me. And that's a lot for me to say because I do believe that she did think that Brian Coburger was innocent, no doubt about it. But I'm saying where I think that Ann Taylor disappointed me is that I think that she should have got a research team involved and she didn't. And you needed like Karen Reed, like you need like an army. You can't do this with 4 or 5 people. And I just wish that she would have like put in to get a research, not me. I'm just saying anybody, like fuck, get a research team. Like you need people to go through all that shit, all that discovery. I know you can go through that. I know what it takes to go through it. I know that Ann Taylor did not go through it. So whatever.
We looked up on the stream as far as like, what was it? 47 terabytes, right? I believe.
It was way more than that. Way more 57? Than that. It was like, over 70.
The analogy that we were talking about is like how like a gigabyte, most people understand, but like a terabyte, nobody really knows. Like, it's hard to imagine how much a terabyte is. So we looked up like, the whole analogy of 1 million seconds is 11 days. Yeah. 1 billion seconds is 32 years.
Yeah.
That's like the same difference between like a gig and a terabyte.
Yeah. Like, so 100.
It's really hard to, even on the money standpoint or the time standpoint, yet alone data storage standpoint, wrap your head around it. Every single time that there's some sort of emotional tragedy, there's always that overreach that you just talked about where it's like, we're only going to use this technology. We're only going to put these matters into place. It's going to be a temporary, policy or a temporary, act just until we catch this one monster. Every single time after the fact, it becomes a regular. The IGG from a 40,000 foot view, if you really want to look at what precedent it set, is if you don't have enough evidence to have probable cause to then get a warrant, well, then you can just get an anonymous tip and go pull a Q-tip out of a trash can, however many thousands of miles away, send it to a third-party lab that you lose the chain of custody, the DNA doubles in size, and bam, now you're in front of the firing squad because also the state that you just so happened to commit a murder in changed it from lethal injection to the firing squad during an election year. But no one's going to say that's sus. That's just
okay. Like people are for the death penalty, people aren't. Okay, that's like a total for me. That's a total other argument in terms of like, you guys, the state admitted that Brian Coburger's phone didn't go off line at 246 and 247, but that it went off at 254. And I said to myself, why the fuck would that matter? If you think about it, like, why couldn't they just go off of 254? Like, why lie about that? Why lie about something like that? Like, and it matters, like, clearly, because if it didn't, they would fucking just say the truth. So, but the purpose of the whole mental exercise is to ask yourself, why would it be so important? It was important enough to lie because I'm over here thinking like Ashley Jennings, well, what does 7 minutes matter, right? And I'm like, exactly, Ashley. So why didn't you fucking just do it, right? Think, why didn't you do it?
Yeah, you gotta counter the question with the same question.
You gotta turn into, they clearly needed to do that for a reason. It wasn't we made a mistake. No, because it's like right in front of you. Like, that it didn't go off then, right? So that should tell you guys everything that you need to know is that for the reason they needed it to not go off until that point, because they needed to buy time because of a white car that they needed to say, oh, look it right here. The phone is on and there's a white car and then it goes off, and there's the white car that we just said was on the screen. And that's why they went away from it during the docs, and that they never said anything about seeing a white car on WSU's campus in the beginning part to say, hey, if you look at the documents, you're going to see that they don't take a car from here to go to here. They just have it show up at 326 and 329 on Moscow's campus. And so it matters because you arrested somebody off of the probable cause of having the car be on WSU's campus to then transport it over there to Moscow's campus. And I'm over here like this. Listen, do I think right now Brian Coburger is 100% guilty? Absolutely. You want to know why? Because he said he was, right? Do I think that Brian Coburger had a chance to beat it? Absolutely. Because the case is that weak. So my whole thing is this. I know that the way that the cops and the feds work is that their methodologies and their fucking ways of doing things have a 30% rate of putting people behind bars that are not guilty. Do you understand that? Brian Coburger is not. Yeah, Brian Coburger let's say that Brian Coburger does not fall into that category, and he's one of the guilty people, right? So we violate our rights because, but they're like, but the ends justifies the means because guess what? He fucking killed them. I think Brian Coburger killed them. I do. Because you know why? Because Brian Coburger said he did. All right. That's why I believe it. Not because it was been proven, but Brian Coburger pled guilty to doing it, right? And it's different from giving a false confession with no lawyers. There's totally a difference. Listen to what I'm saying. I know what it's like when you don't have a lawyer and you're fucking in an interrogation room and then you just, oh my God, I confessed to a crime I didn't commit. Okay. Brian, for 3 years, had the best defense team that people want to go out there and say that you had. Okay. And so you have to give it this mindset, which is, okay, Brian Coburger was not coerced into saying I did it because he didn't have the wherewithal from his defense team to say, no, you're not going to say that. You're not going to fucking say that, dude. You didn't do it. Okay. Does that mean that Brian Coburger didn't take a deal because, oh, I don't want to die? Well, guess what? You're a pussy. You're a pussy then. Okay. Because you don't wait, you said that you wanted, I'm going to exonerate myself. I didn't do this. I'm going to exonerate myself. This reminds me of Chris Watts, but it got drug out way longer than what Chris Watts did. All right.
I sometimes wonder if Brian Coburger, if it was like a quiet plea deal to save face on a high profile case, because I agree with your points of, well, Brian himself, we all watched him on camera say, I'm guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I get your point of saying you think Brian killed him because he just said he killed him. Right. It's not that necessarily.
I never said that. Did the state prove that Brian Coburger?
I see your point.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And but I'm also saying he had 3 defense attorneys, very good defense attorneys that were standing right there by his side, letting him say that. Let me tell you something, man. If me, who I am, and I'm not an attorney, if I believe in somebody's innocence, okay, listen, I get it. You want to do this? Oh, I have to save. I don't want my mom to testify and blah, blah. Fuck your mom right now. We can get her out of that stuff. She can plead fucking the 5th. Okay. I want to plead the 5th. I'm going to tell my client, listen, you didn't do this, but how about this? If you do this, motherfucker, all these avenues that we have to fucking get a appeal, you're flushing it down the toilet. So even if you like, we still have to go through the process so that you have this ability to appeal. Okay. Ann Taylor and Brian had to have seen, and the team had to have seen something that's absolutely fucking nuts. Think about it, guys. Just think about it. 3 years. 3 fucking years to get to this point that you would do this. And Ann Taylor, her job is to save his life. I did my job if I save his life.
It's just hard for me to wrap my head around because I don't think Ann Taylor is dumb. And I don't think that Ann Taylor would throw her career away for that, because we all know that that's exactly what you don't go into that plea deal not understanding, if you're Ann Taylor, knowing that, oh shit, like this is a terrible look for the rest of my career. It was a circumstantial case. They didn't prove it. They didn't have to prove it. They pretty much reread the PCA. They, at the same time, not when I say they, I'm saying us, we're all talking. None of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would you do it? Well, that's where, again, people might hate this take. They might love this take. It tells me that
if I did it, I would go through with the fucking trial, man. Think about it. If I did it.
What if he wasn't allowed to go through with the trial?
No, if I did it though, think about this. I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker had so many chances to like literally just all you need is one juror, right? He would have gotten a juror 10 out of 10 times. There's no doubt in my mind that Brian Coburger would. So why don't you go? Why?
Unless you're not allowed, like, unless they're like,
no, because of what his availability would have been after the fact. If he would have been on death row, he is not going to have any of the, his life is different behind bars. Okay. He doesn't have, and so if you truly believe that Brian Coburger is the type that, I think Brian Coburger has no problem being in prison. Brian Coburger, just like anybody would be that has, I don't need to talk to people. I just want to be like, I'm regimented. I have my things. I want to just, can I have my books? Can I look at all this discovery that I need to go through? Because I know that I'm innocent. Remember what he always said is I'm going to exonerate myself. I'm going to exonerate myself. Not that this is a total fucking mistake or this is a total, I'm going to, in order to exonerate yourself, you have to be guilty at a point. And so it's like, hey, Ann, get me all of this discovery so that we can all go through it, because there's no time to do it. And I don't trust any of these people. And Ann's over here like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, these people are such fucking shady fucks. I'm just saying that.
Let me ask you this.
Brian Coburger said he's guilty, right? I would never say I did something that I didn't do, but Brian Coburger doesn't have my personality.
Also, though, how weird is it that he doesn't have to tell them where the murder weapon is? He doesn't have to tell them a motive. But it's like, so you're okay. This is a real question. So is it actually on Bill Thompson to say, oh, fuck yeah, in that deal, you must say this, and that?
Yes, so, allocate. Yeah, yes.
So then we have this entire plea deal that's just literally like this. Okay, we did enough. Right? That's all but it didn't prove anything. I just cannot believe that Brian Coburger, maybe without even having to admit motive, didn't have to say where the murder weapon is. That blows my mind. In addition to so many other things where it makes me feel like, was it a real plea hearing and was it a real plea deal? Yes, it's real.
Oh, it's real.
Yes. But what is the actual motivation other than just getting out of the death penalty? Because you said it yourself. I've said it myself. I think a lot of people in here would agree. You had a better chance of not getting convicted by not taking that plea deal. You would have gotten a juror. You 100% would have. So I don't see why you go up there and then the state doesn't have to prove anything. I can't stand the two things that drive me bananas about the plea hearing.
The only people I've ever known that I get behind that have ever pleaded to some, or have ever said, I should say pleaded. The word isn't pleaded, because Brian Coburger pled. Like Dan Moore, innocent. Okay, he false confessed in a room. Okay, Sheldon Jr. never false confessed, never fucking said shit. He said, I didn't fucking do any of this shit. And I'm just saying, like, Brian Coburger's situation, guys, is totally different than somebody that could have been just arrested in a room that you kept in there for 16, 17, 19, 20 hours and you got him to say, I did it. You know what I mean? That's not the situation. The situation is that they're using the death penalty as a bargaining tool, right? And so he's trying to either save his life for that. But if you think about it, a narcissist and everything that they say that Brian Coburger is, it doesn't matter what you're offering him. He would never have taken the deal, right?
Right. And then you have to go back though to.
So I think that he has a plan. I don't think Ann Taylor's on board with his plan though. Does that make sense?
It does. If Brian's leading that plan, obviously he's the client
himself.
Yeah. Right. But then it goes back. But then it goes back to your point about constitutional rights. That's on the judge.
He had every dude. I'm telling you this right now, hands down, the shit that I've uncovered and everybody has seen. If basically Brian Coburger should be a free man.
Yes. Based on Constitution.
But I think he did it because I think he should be a free man because they violated his rights. But I've never ever said that Brian Coburger, like I've always explained this to everybody and they just never fucking chose to listen because I'm like, this is about our rights. And because of that, he is a free man. He should be a free man. But that does not mean that he's innocent. But you know what? It's important that guilty people go free when you fuck our rights because we cannot have one innocent man be in prison because, you get what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's so important because these motherfuckers do shit that's so shady because they get their own fucking tunnel vision. They do whatever, like, and then it's poop. And it matters. It matters.
It's just so wild that
Karen Reed would be in prison right now. Karen Reed would be in prison right now if she didn't have a $5 million motherfucking deal. Like, do y'all understand that, man? Karen Reed. But guess what the difference is with Karen Reed? She fought. Well, guess what? Maybe Karen Reed fought because she's a pretty white girl and who had money because mommy and daddy. Okay. Would Karen Reed have fought if she was like a man like Brian Coburger? If she was a black person like fucking Sheldon Jeter Jr., would she be able to be up there all proud and shit? You know what I mean? Think about it. And the answer is no. The answer truly is no. That's a 1% chance that Karen Reed does it the way that she did it if she wasn't white, fucking blonde, blue eyes. Be honest, man.
I for sure think that there's accuracy to your statement, especially when it comes to the media. What sort of they want to run with? What narrative do they want to spin? 100%. And then what is it? And it's not just the narrative, because that narrative, let's be honest, the narrative with Karen Reed quickly turned into being a bulletproof narrative that she's innocent. Vice versa, the narrative quickly turned into a bulletproof narrative that Brian Coburger is guilty. So the narrative does matter.
And people felt that Brian Coburger was guilty because of the way that he looks.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at.
Karen Reed was innocent because of the way that she looks and because of her money.
That's what I'm getting at.
Isn't that nuts?
It is nuts. It's fucking mind-blowing because while at the same point, the media narrative doesn't matter, it does to people who would be willing to represent them. It does for people who would be willing to come out and stick their neck out for them. Maybe somebody who's holding evidence or some sort of interaction. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is Brian Coburger has no known motive. That's confessed to. There's no murder weapon. It wasn't a sexual crime. What was that?
Serial killers don't have a motive. It's opportunity.
That
I personally believe that Brian Coburger, if he's the one, it would have been any house there that night. It would have been.
Well, then
I'm walking up to this house. I'm walking up to that house. You know, serial killers, it's opportunity. You know what I mean?
So then my question would be this. Why is it that a loner serial killer obsessed criminology student who just transferred to that school with a single blade, fixed blade knife goes into a party house, kills 4 people? One person sees him face to face. They have his car on camera. They have his DNA on the knife sheath. They have all of this background evidence. Why is it the most sealed and redacted case? I don't get.
I don't think that he went there to kill. I believe that if it's Brian Coburger is the guy, his MO with things is that he goes into places that he thinks that he can rob to turn it into money to buy his drugs. Brian Coburger is not a killer from everything that he's done. He's always stole. He's always robbed his friends' moms and dads' houses to take things for drugs, to pay for his habit. And if they were all talking about that he started losing a bunch of weight, it sounds like he started fucking using again, right? And so did he go over to that area to try to steal from the house or steal drugs because that house had drugs in it? And then shit, one thing led to another, and that he ended up killing people because of that. That seems more plausible to me.
But don't you think that would be fact if this man just lost his life?
I think that if that was the case, though, I think that he would have explained that to Anne and said that, can we please explain how this all went down? And maybe I wouldn't be doing, like, I would want that story to be out, that I wasn't trying to be some serial killer. But then I have to take into his autism. I'm just saying.
But then the evidence would have convicted him.
I think the best thing that Brian Coburger had going for him was that the car had nothing in it. Okay. If I'm his defense attorney, okay, for example, I'm not letting him talk to anybody. He's not talking to anybody. If he's talking to his family, I'm going to be involved. I want to know everything and anything that man is opening up, looking at, talking to, everything. I need to know. I need to know that any outside influences, whatever had to do with this man trying to tell me, after 3 years of me fucking saying that this motherfucker is innocent, I putting my motherfucking license on the line to stand up and say, hey, he's innocent. He's factually innocent. We believe in his innocence, right? So I need to know everything that's going into this boy, that he would ever come to me and say, I want a plea deal. And I would be, Brian, what are you talking about, plea deal? We're fine. People don't ever allow third-party culprits. Like, that's like normal. And I would be explaining this to him, and I would be saying, we have this, you didn't do it, right? Blah, blah, blah. Well, hey, how about this knife that you bought, Brian? Where's this Amazon knife that you bought? Where's the sheet that you bought? Do you have it? Is there a place that we can go and get it? Like, maybe that would help out. If I'm talking to my client to say, person to person, well, it just seems like we're losing on everything that we're saying. I'm like, that's normal. That's normal. Like, what do you mean we're losing on everything that we're saying? We won change of venue. We did this. We were over here. Like, well, how about this? And why didn't they let Cyree testify? Well, Cyree's not, he's still going to testify at your fucking trial, man. They're lying about stuff. And yes, of course, even if they're going against us here, these rulings, if you think that they're unconstitutional, they will be overturned. But what are you sitting here telling me? You want me to go tell them, hey, we want a plea deal? After 3 years, you want a plea deal? It's like think about it. If you're trying to talk to your client like that, how does that even come up? If I believe in his innocence, and you're telling me that, hey, Brian, the fucking the sheath was planted.
I want to know.
It looks like it's planted. It truly looks like it's planted. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I would be telling him that. I would be saying, listen, and guess what? We've preserved the record on this. We're going to show that your fucking car, and they had to lie to arrest you, motherfucker. Do you understand that? Well, why didn't they lied. They said that your phone went off at 2:47 or 2:46. It had to go off at 2:54. They knew it, and they lied. Why would they do that, right? That's what I'd be telling my client. I'd be pumping him up. I'd be like, we're going to fucking put their dicks in their own asses. Bill Thompson, bend over, bitch. Let's go.
Well, and that's where it comes back to a narrative of Brian Coburger studied criminology. I think people do get it confused. Criminology and criminal justice are two different things. I'm not saying that maybe people in this chat and the Hive and the stream don't understand that, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people think they're the same thing, right? Criminology is the study of how people think and how criminals think. Criminal justice is more of like the study of, like, would you say the system, law enforcement, things like that. So my question is, with all that being said, if he's so smart, he would be like, no, they don't have shit on me. So I think you ask a very valid question. How did a plea deal come up? How did it get agreed to? Would he agree to it? Did he ask for it? Did Ann Taylor agree to it? Did Ann Taylor tell him it's his only option? I don't see how any four of those were the organic like groundswell of that conversation. There's no way it could have been. I refuse to believe that Brian Coburger is this genius and then falls back to saying, I'm guilty after a 3-year battle. Everything, every little shroud of evidence is fought tooth and nail over. The constitutional questions that were they violated? Yes.
Yeah, they were totally violated. Like,
they were totally violated.
Constitutional rights were violated.
The fucking prosecutor stands up and says, while we admit we can't put him in the King Road house or that he had direct connection, like, fuck off. Brian, you should sit the fuck down and you should say, I fucked up. That's what you need to say. And Ann Taylor actually needs to go and put a fucking face, like a black mask, back over his head and drag him to the back room. That's what he needs to do.
Slap him and be like, bring it.
You said you were going to waterboard other people. You need to waterboard sense into Brian Coburger.
Yes.
And be like, you need to wake the fuck up. Because if you're going to agree to this, you're a dead man. You're going to go to jail. People are going to kill you. Your best chance of living is to go to trial.
Yes, Birdie.
So it pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah. Like, no, that's what I want people to like argue that way. Like, it's just like, dude, think about if it was your life. How would you be? You wouldn't just be like,
it's your life. It's
exactly.
Your life. You just fought 3 years tooth and nail for it. And like I said, hate on Ann Taylor. Don't hate on Ann Taylor. I don't really give a shit. But my opinion is that you don't stand up and say, Your Honor, my client is innocent. You don't put forward alternate perpetrators to take a fucking guilty plea deal.
Fuck yeah.
You got to be there. This is what I'm saying. I should stand up and go get my fucking tinfoil hat for this. That's where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on. I don't care. I'm going to hypothetically put this motherfucker on because now I'm pissed off because it's so hard because we drive ourselves mad trying to figure out how does a square peg fit into a round hole. Well, it's not a stretch to think that Brian Coburger got himself in way too fucking deep. He saw something he shouldn't have with way too powerful of people. Ann Taylor, the Coburgers, as you said, they didn't have the researchers or the research team. A lot of stuff. And they ended up getting bent over the barrel. Like, what's that movie where they're like, I just got bent over the barrel and showed the 50 states. What is that? That's what fucking happened constitutionally. Really, honestly. And to end this rant and this ramble, all I'm going to say is this. If it looks like bullshit and it smells like bullshit and there's circumstantial evidence, but then out of the blue after 3 years in the most sealed case in recent modern history, he just goes, yes, 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 guilty, 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 guilty. Well, Brian, what's your motive? Brian, where's the murder weapon? Brian, I get your point of the serial killer, but then I go back to my other point of if it was that straightforward, we would have never seen a 3-year trial. We would have never seen all the sealed docs, the redacted statements, the delayed 911 go. It's so hard for me to wrap my head around that if this man truly is guilty and it took him right until now to say I'm guilty with Ann Taylor sitting next to him fucking smiling.
Yeah.
I can wrap my head around a lot of shit. Okay. I can wrap my head around the mud floods. I can wrap my head around the flat earth theory. Not saying I believe it. I can wrap my head around a lot of crazy shit, but I cannot wrap my head around a dude who has evidence against him. Yeah. I think
that he wanted it to be known as that he was this serial killer. Let everybody think that versus me possibly using druggy, junky motherfuckers, okay, to pull shit off because I don't want to be known as that person. I'd rather be known as, okay, I was attempted to be serial killer who was smart or who the police had to violate my rights to catch me type of thing versus ever trying to say that I went there with some junkies because we're all fucking meth addicts and heroin addicts.
Let me ask you this.
I think that he cares a lot about that. That's what I think right now. Because I think that if I was Ann Taylor, if I'm Brian Coburger, I'm like, Ann, you just told the world that I was innocent. Mathis, you just told the world that I was innocent over and over and over. Now you want me to take a plea deal? Hey, mommy, daddy, you want me to take a plea deal? What's going on here?
This is a question. You know how you started the stream by asking me questions? I'm going to ask you one. If you didn't know that it was the Karen Reed case, yep, or if you didn't know it was the Brian Coburger case, and it was like a third-party, triple-blind academic study for a white paper, who do you think it's, as far as a survey after reading all the evidence, all the documents, assuming they're unsealed, assuming it's just a public hearing, who do you think gets found guilty more times, Karen or Brian?
Karen Reed, all day, because of the taillight, 100%.
It's just crazy, and I'm not saying that Karen's guilty. I'm just it's the power of the narrative, it's the power of the media, it's the power of the resources.
Hold on, I'm gonna embarrass this person. You keep writing in though. You keep commenting in. If I couldn't be here, I love it. If I couldn't be here, I'd leave. Bitch keeps writing in, mindful fuck. Fill your fucking ass. Go ahead. I just wanted to.
No, you're good. I got you. I got a bunch of little toys.
Yeah, here. Lana, admit it. Lana, admit it. I just put in your fucking ass, mindful fuck. You know what I'll admit? Take my fucking link so I can put it in your fucking coochie, bitch. How about that? Make sure you take a shower first. Let's continue.
You can't. Let's continue.
Hey, toss the hoe. Leave the hoe. I don't give a fuck, mods. Let her stay. Let her sit and spin. I know it's a girl because she wants a mouthful. Oh, you like that? You guys, 4 people were murdered and people were put through the ringer. And this cocksucker, Brian, right? I'm sorry, but I put everybody through the ringer. Brian, you put all these families through the ringer, right? All these people through the ringer. And now you think you're just going to plead out? I can't even blame you, though. This is where I'm saying, why would Bill Thompson let this piece of shit out this easy? And this is where I'm like, Ann Taylor, this should tell you that you had the strongest case because they had the weakest case against you. That doesn't mean that he's innocent. It just simply means, what the fuck is going on here? Brian Coburger can be the guy guilty. He said he was, all those things. I'm simply telling America, the only reason that y'all think that he's so guilty is because mainstream media cost themselves millions of dollars because they'd sold you a book of goods for 3 years. If mainstream media would have covered this case like they should have fairly, we would have a fucking trial, y'all. So I love the fact that mainstream media is over there like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? What am I going to talk about for 3 fucking more months? They cut their fucking millions off because they didn't cover the case fairly. I shit you not. And I love it. I fucking love it.
All right.
It's the truth. They totally, and I love it. Why don't you guys start covering cases fairly? Go watch the shit, man. They lost their payday. Do you understand that Fox News was like, we're going to have a 10 out there this year. It's our first time we're ever covering a case like this. And I'm like, then fucking Brian Coburger fucking does his plea deal. These motherfuckers lost their asses. And people over here want to come to my channel and say, oh, what are you going to do to make money? I'm like, dude, make money. I'm like, I'm good. Trust me. But mainstream media lost millions of dollars. I mean, you guys know how much money the mainstream media lost because this case is not going to trial? Do you want me to tell you how much money? I've done the math. You want me to tell you how much money? Why don't you go add up what they average per view of a trial, okay? And times that by 23 cents a view. Go ahead. And let me know how much you think mainstream media just lost in YouTube revenue.
let me ask you this. I obviously
They lost their dicks.
I think most people here know that you
Take
call me
cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers. A little delayed. Cheers. I just couldn't wait anymore because I was like, oh, this is going right into what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
As far as like my biggest tinfoil hat theory goes off of exactly what you just said. They're gonna miss out on a shit ton of money.
Oh my God.
They've covered this case. Millions.
I mean, millions. I did the math. It's like $63 million. If you don't believe me, I will prove it.
No, I believe you. It's tens of millions. It's God knows how much, right? It's
63 mil.
Yeah, it's a shitload of money. My question is, how do you keep them paying attention to it? How do you keep them paying attention to it? How do you keep them pushing your narrative? Well, you look at the Amazon series, you look at not so much the Dateline series, but more so the Amazon series. That's a production. How many people did Patterson interview? Hundreds, right? Like we're talking, this is in the works for so long. They would have never had to
read that. Just fucking read that. Are you kidding? Outside of court TV, no one was showing this case. No one cares except the underbelly of YouTube. Fucking hey, are you, dude? Hey, Steve.
I've never done it.
I'm gonna call Steve and ask him what he thinks about that, dude. Ashley Banfield from News Nation and Nancy Grace are so. Jennifer, they are so.
Candace Owens mentioned it. Like,
yeah. Like, look at this mother. I don't think he's racist by saying OJ's black ass. How about your fucking white fucking chafed dick that you use your fucking right hand so much on that you can't even fucking make it get into someone's pussy, bitch. That's all I have to say. White chafed dick right there. Get him out of here. Being racist, talk about OJ's black ass.
All I want to do is just tell my tinfoil hat theory. No, that was
Megyn Kelly's offended.
Oh my God.
Megyn Kelly's like, you guys, I have Howard Bloom on here every other day. And I was hoping to fucking interview somebody that can get my like come on, get out of here. Dude, if Howard Bloom doesn't get you wet, I don't know what does. I love Howard Bloom, even though I don't agree at all with his, but I appreciate his tenacity. I could disagree with everybody on the planet, but if you bring it, I love you for it. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to have an opinion. I want you to also research it. If you just want to talk about something, I'm like, you didn't even read the documents or you don't even know shit. Fuck you then. But if you've read stuff and you have an opinion off of what you read, I love it. Like, I want to talk to somebody that isn't an echo chamber. Like, bring it.
And that's where I was going with the mainstream media is, would you agree? Like, how would actually, let me ask you this. 1 being the least, 10 being the most.
Ooh.
Out of 10, how important was the narrative in the Brian Coburger case?
Well, Ann Taylor said it was really important. I think that the way the juries look at things, it's really important. You need to be able to have they're going to like
7 at least.
Yeah, no, 8.
Okay. So it's up there.
8.
Okay.
8. Oh yeah.
So knowing it's that important, knowing that this is never going to go to trial, how do you keep the media invested? Well, whether you believe these texts or you don't believe these texts, I believe that they line up. You look back at the creator, Brett Norton, and Steve G's text.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The Patterson book. Well, look what just came out. You look at the Amazon show. Do you know that, like, just to produce 3 episodes on average, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, to cast, edit, interview, promote, produce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The fastest it could be done is probably 3 to 4 months.
Like, if you're going to, yeah, sure.
Right? From start to finish. So they knew for a while. And isn't it odd that they never had to change their air date for this series? Dateline is never going to see repercussions. James Patterson's never going to see repercussions. That's why I put my tinfoil hat on thinking, did they know that they're going to get millions because they agreed to push a narrative and they're not going to face legal repercussion for it? Although they may miss out on tens of millions for the trial, hey, we'll pay you for the work you do now. And it really makes you think, because for God's sakes, even when the initial like media, we want to lift the non-dissemination order, that was on July 10th. When did Amazon's series come out? July 11th, the literal next day. Now I know that doesn't really matter.
Well, and then the 17th was the book. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Wait. What?
It's meticulously timed. It's too timed out. It's too perfect.
Well, no, they kept pushing it back, but they kept pushing it back. They wanted the release to be what it was. Like, they wanted to be right before the case, you know?
So then you put that on top of everything else that doesn't make sense in this case. You start to wonder, what the fuck did we just watch in Idaho?
Yeah, I think these detectives suck. I think these police officers suck. They're not trained right. I think that I do. I think that they suck.
How far do you think somebody would go for a cover-up? Do you think they'd put an innocent man in prison for life?
You know, I think they're trying to cover for their fucking mistakes. And what sucks is that it would cost them. Like, me personally right now, what I see is that rights were violated, things were done wrong, the person would go free, but that doesn't mean that the person is innocent. You get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying. And that's where you kind of fight with yourself mentally.
I don't at all, because I believe in the Constitution, and I believe that, you know what, if y'all fucked some shit up, it's your mistake, and that means that you're gonna follow that motherfucker for the rest of his life. You're gonna put somebody on him to make sure that he never kills anybody again. You get what I'm trying to say? Like,
100%. I feel the same way.
We cannot take over labs the way they did. They cannot fucking manipulate. God damn it. They cannot do what they did in this case in cases that fuck shit. Are you kidding me? They cannot do things the way they did in this case. And I'm just praying that y'all please wait until the gag order is lifted. Cyray is coming on this channel, and I'm not going to give him softball questions. We got questions. He put a fucking scathing affidavit in. I got questions about that. You guys should have so many questions about the affidavit, okay? Because to me, this is about the FBI, about the pull once the local and state police are allowed to say, hey, we want to bring in the FBI. Well, truly, what type of power are you giving the FBI once you call them in? And they can just do whatever the fuck that they want. But what if they're wrong? Can they be wrong? And the answer is yes. They can be wrong. They have been wrong. But they railroad people, and they make it so that it doesn't go to court. It doesn't get that far. And that sucks, man. Because this case would have outed all of that shit. When Steve G's over here talking about, oh my God, this case is going to show you all the stuff that they have. It's going to show you all the stuff that they did illegally. It's going to show you how they fucking violated all of our rights to make this happen. And you have to ask yourself, well, wow, if you had to do all of this stuff, but what if you're wrong, right? There's blood in that house that we have no idea who it belongs to. And Brian Coburger may be guilty, like he said he is, I believe, yeah. But how do we know that it wasn't other people? There's blood in the house that it does not belong to Brian Coburger. Y'all fucking listening to that?
I just want to know, like, out of 100 people, this is a morbid question. Trigger warning. Out of 100 people, no experience, you study everything Brian Coburger did, which is criminology, which, again, it's the study of how criminals think. Out of 100 people, how many people can go in, pull that timeline off, pull the lack of evidence off? In addition, see a surviving roommate, have their car barely put them there. A weird-ass DoorDash driver allegedly is going to be their star witness that maybe puts them at the scene, doesn't, talks about it while she's out of her ass in the back of a cop car.
Right.
Everything gets gag ordered and sealed and redacted. What are the chances out of 10,000 people? 100,000. It's like, how does it happen? And then the odds of it too, you get away with it to a point where you're not arrested for 30 days and you get pulled over 2 times in a row for tailgating with your father in the car.
Right.
Who's the guy that ends up tying your ass to the crime?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it.
Hey, I just don't get it.
Dude, anybody that would tell you that they were not pulled over and it had nothing to do with shit, as it does in this book, how do you swallow that, dude? Come on. Yeah, come on.
I mean,
it's like anything. Look at the John Benet Ramsey case. She had fucking touch DNA on her panties. And if you were to arrest the guy that had the touch DNA on her panties, right, you'd actually be arresting the wrong guy because he just packaged the new panties that she just had happened to put on because it was Christmas and she put on panties that had never been washed before. Think about that, though.
That's crazy.
Like, but if you were to do it in this case, the way that, then you would have arrested him and he's got the DNA there and he would have been found guilty in a courtroom. Do you understand that? Like, and that's just where it's like when prosecutors know things that like that's where it becomes ethical. That's where it's morally. And in Idaho, you guys, there is no ethics and morals in fucking Idaho, man.
I think Idaho is a portal to hell, honestly.
Idaho, I never realized that it was a fucking pipe dream to Canada and Mexico. It's disgusting. But if you were to arrest a person that had the touch DNA on John Benet Ramsey's underwear, you would have gotten the wrong guy. But guess what? They not only would you have prosecuted the wrong guy, but they would have found him guilty and he'd be doing fucking life or he would be dead. You know what I mean? So think about that when you want to talk about touch DNA. I think the biggest thing that everybody should focus on is how did Brian Coburger not have any, if he went there truly in his vehicle, how is there nothing in that motherfucker?
Dude.
That's what I want to know. That's the only question I have for that motherfucker is, and I believe that he didn't go there in that car. I believe that if he's the one, it didn't happen at that time.
I don't think the time, I mean, I think the timeline is accurate to a point.
He didn't go there in that car.
Can we go back to the touch DNA thing quick?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of, it's a defense lawyer. She was on my stream. Her name's Allie Benevento. The people that have been in my streams have heard this. Have you ever, so Allie Benevento, she's not the defense lawyer that exposed the Olympic person touching the gymnast. Allie Benevento was out in
Michigan State.
Yeah, not that one. But I believe she was in one of the Carolinas that exposed with the cheerleading team. It was national news for a little bit. She came on the stream and she talked about how she doesn't call touch DNA. She calls it trace DNA.
Trace transfer. Okay.
She told this story. And if you've been in my streams, you've heard this, but for you and your chat, this is fucking mind-blowing. She told a story about trace DNA and how it convicted an innocent man of murder.
Fuck yeah, it does.
So there was a homeless gentleman that had a drinking problem and was passed out outside of a liquor store.
Okay.
The EMT got called on. The EMT comes and puts a pulse ox on his finger.
Okay.
2 hours later, 50 miles away, 50 miles away, a rich IT businessman was found murdered. That same EMT was at the scene. Pulse oxed the dead businessman.
Okay.
Guess who got convicted for the murder?
The homeless man.
That's crazy because they found it under his fingernail.
Right.
I mean, so you think about that.
Did he get out? I mean, is he out now?
He got out. But
so how much time did he do?
I want to say it was either 8 months or 8 years. It was enough though, where it's like, hang on. Even like the EMT's like when they were called in to like testify or trial, like, did you see him? Well, yeah, I saw him. Where'd you see him? Could he have traveled that far? Could he like it's a crazy fucking case.
It's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? It's
bullshit.
And that's just what I mean. Like it just comes down to integrity. It comes down to ethics. It comes down to morals. And I just know that I believe that Brian Coburger would have been found not guilty because of the fact that it was such a weak case. But that does not mean that I believe that Brian Coburger was innocent. I believe that our rights were validated in that case. I believe that the FBI has been doing crazy shit, like literally crazy shit, like bolstering. Like I read it the other night. What they're doing with their testimonies. They are bolstering testimonies based on words and language, and it's not what it means. If there's a case out there that deserves people's attention to come together and rally around, it's people like Richard Allen. It's people like Sheldon Jr.
How do you feel about Stephen Avery?
I would just love to see people rally around somebody that's not a female. Like, can we see the world rally around somebody that's a guy?
How do you feel about Brendan Dassey in The Making of Murder?
Innocent as fuck.
Yeah.
Like how you can just violate, like, dude, and they knew that. Like you are a fucking adult. Like you're 40 fucking 50 years old, and you're a goddamn motherfucking investigator detective, and you're gonna fucking bully a 16-year-old fucking slow person. Fuck you, man. I hope you get 10 dicks up your ass. Like that shit fucking
at once,
me, man. At once. A bag of dicks, swallow it. Fuck you. I think you're shit. And if that, like, look at those fucking pigs that are fucking, and I don't mean cops. I'm talking about, like, look at that fucking documentary. There are fucking people, like, they're just, ugh.
You know what's so weird?
Disgusting, man. It's sick. Dude, the kid wanted to go home and watch fucking wrestling. God damn, man. They didn't want to pay that Stephen Avery dude millions of dollars, so they did all of this. It's fucking gross. And you know who's fucking just sitting and spinning right now is the girl's Teresa Hallbeck's fucking ex-boyfriend. He's a piece of shit. Yep. He's a piece of shit. Give me 10 minutes with that motherfucker. Yeah, let me bring.
You're talking about Steve. You're talking about the uncle.
I'm talking. No. I'm talking about Hallbeck's ex-boyfriend.
Oh yeah. The one that just so happened to log in, get the voicemails and all that bullshit. Yeah, that was so weird. They just
it's the Hallbecks. It's her ex-boyfriend. I know who's involved in that. It's so obvious. Dude, that was all about money. They didn't want to pay them money. They didn't want to pay. Fuck you, dude. When you want to talk about coincidences, come on.
No, that's the craziest.
The guy was wrongfully convicted of a rape, and he was owed all that money. And instead of having to pay him, well, let's just tie him up in some other bullshit. Well, how do we do that? Well, let's set up something.
That's the most obvious state-sponsored.
Fucking A, man.
That's the most obvious
piece of shit. Fuck them. Yeah. That's why they suck in football too. Fuck them.
Hey. Oh, that's hilarious. I was going to say, but like, it's the most obvious state-sponsored conspiracy of all time.
It's gross. Yeah. It's absolutely gross. And you know what, though? The last person that we have to blame before you can blame the jury is the judge. The judge.
Ken Kratz is pretty bad too, though.
Oh, I think he's gay.
I could see, I mean, he was like texting the women all creepy, talking about how big his house is and all that stuff.
Go Pack Go.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Have you ever heard him talk? I mean, I got pretty good gaydar. He can have a wife. I don't care. I totally think he 100% either gives it or takes it up the ass.
Very easy to blackmail.
It's my opinion. It's my opinion. I think that he's gay. Nothing's wrong with that. I just think he's gay.
I've always wondered if the state or the cops got to somebody on
my gaydar at some point.
Yeah. I've always wondered if the cops got to somebody or somebody at the state level got to somebody in Avery's defense team.
Avery's defense? No, I mean, I couldn't even. God. Yeah.
Either way.
You know what? Like, you just get yourself in fucking messes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like a whole, like, Catherine Zellner's got her hands fucking full, man. That's all I got to say.
What's your opinion on Zellner?
Yeah. She's got her hands full.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I would love to be able to talk to people that I just couldn't imagine having to do all that and explaining it all to. Let me ask you a question about this. So, can Kaylee worked at a Mexican restaurant, and I never knew this, but according to the book, and she worked at a Mexican restaurant that was on Main Street or whatever, and she was saving money up for. She paid for her meals to be prepped and also her gym membership, but it was $300 a week for gym membership and her meal. I mean, that's $1,200 a month. Who can afford that as a college kid to pay? I'm going to pay $1,200 a month for, according to this book, for a gym membership and a meal and meal plans. What do you think? That's crazy.
I think it's crazy whether you could afford it or not.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Do you think it's a typo?
I mean, 120.
She didn't have OnlyFans though. Think about it, guys. I told you guys about this. These girls that were like sorority sisters decided to become bodybuilders. Have you guys seen those lives? Like,
I've always wondered about the money aspect, and I will speculate. I'm not talking OnlyFans. I'm just saying like
OnlyFans.
Like, what could it? I mean, and if it was okay, but it's like, don't you think that would have come out? Like officially? Don't you think there would have been leaks?
I want to know what gym and meal plans are $300 a week. Is that really what it is?
I don't know.
2022, like what? Like, I mean, that's what was in the book. It's in the book. So I'm curious.
That's a lot of money.
That's $1,200 a month.
You could get a meal plan off Google and join Planet Fitness on the cheap end, but even if you landed somewhere in the middle, you're going to get a really good trainer and meal plan. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily have an opinion on that. I think there's people that spend a lot of money on their body and training and trying, but like for like the quote unquote, like,
I mean, that's pretty expensive. So is it on the high end?
I think it is for a college student for sure. That's not like already competing professionally and is still out partying and drinking a lot and maybe not super serious in it. Yes.
She says that spray tans are expensive. Birdie, are you spray tanning on me?
No, I don't spray tan. Oh, funny enough, my wife does mobile spray tans though. My wife does do mobile spray tans.
I was like spray tanning. I was like, I mean, I still even think that's way less.
This is random. If you want to get more tan, okay, you can wear, like, people will be like, oh, you're gonna say don't wear sunscreen. I would say wear sunscreen only on the spots that you burn. But the key to getting tan, I started doing this about 3 years ago. Not that I'm like ultra tan or whatever, but I stopped sunburning less when I stopped wearing sunglasses, because I heard this thing that says your eyes detect the sun, which is the light and the heat, and it's like ultimately like your radar. And when you wear sunglasses, it's dark and it's cold, and your body doesn't know to protect itself from the sun. So I stopped wearing sunglasses 3 years ago. And I only started putting sunscreen on like my nose and the tops of my ears where I would get burned. Maybe the tops of my shoulders if I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't wear sunglasses. I barely sunburn and I absorb way more sunlight.
You're just like, bring it.
Yeah.
Well, by God, ladies, no sunglasses, no problem. Next question for you, Birdie, is chapter 49. What a beautiful Sunday. What do you think about Blaine Eccles? You think he's a fucking like dud or stud? He's the dean of students.
I think there's I think he's got a lot of pull and power. So if you're asking me like just on the terms of like dud or stud, I would say stud as far as like in his life. Yeah.
Like, I got to deal with him. Yeah,
probably. And also a lot of people probably think he's a really good person to know.
I think he's a piece of shit, but go on.
No. But I'm saying if if I just had to answer the question.
Yeah, I would eat his ass too because I just don't want enough problems at the University of Idaho. So we're totally gonna eat his ass, and we're just gonna deal with it because I would do it too, though. Like I don't want no problems. So yeah, Blaine, what do you want me to do? Lay on my back?
But if you were
around?
like looks or like looks or like
no,
whatever,
not looks. Fuck, I wouldn't have sex with him with your dick.
I've never heard that, and
I wouldn't have sex with your dick, baby. Come on now. Oh shit. Okay, so Jonathan Lee Riches makes so we're gonna move on to my next question, which is Jonathan Lee Riches makes the book. I'm a huge fan of JLR. Let me tell you why. Not because we ever
JLR.
Yeah. Okay. I don't ever agree with JLR on his shit. Like 9 times out of 10, like probably 9.9. But what I agree on him is his hustle and his tenacity, and that he just owns it or he'll delete it. Like, and if he deletes it, that clearly like he's just like, there's a reason he's deleting something. So with this case, obviously he gets in his car or he flies and he gets a rental car and he's driving all around. Have you seen those? Like,
yeah, I've seen. I know who JLR is.
Yeah, when he's like recording people and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it's funny. Okay, so I enjoy JLR for numerous reasons. Again, not because I agree with him, but when you're in a like the same, you can't knock somebody's hustle. Like, dude, he like works his ass off. Like, how do you fucking knock that? Like, bye. So here in page 222, like 222, it says, in quotes, the advice they received from Bill Thompson's office is simply to not engage. And I'm like, oh my God, what's this about? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's about JLR. It says, another internet sleuth, Jonathan Lee Riches, makes a YouTube video suggesting that Xana's dad had put a lock on the King Road house's front door the week before the murders because he was worried that Emily threw wild parties there. Emily is suggested is someone the police are looking into. JLR says Emily is somebody the police are looking into as a possible murder suspect. And I'm like, oh my God, JLR makes this big old book, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, I remember this because listen, JLR got a tip. JLR just didn't make that up out of his ass. So I'm going to divulge something to you guys because I appreciate someone's hustle and bustle, okay? JLR didn't make that up, okay? JLR 150% received information that Xana had changed the locks because Xana and Emily had gotten into an altercation, and she was trying to keep out Emily because they had a falling out. This is what he was told. JLR was told. JLR didn't make this up. He was told this. He had this episode up for, I don't know, X amount of time. Then he releases information that Emily and Hunter were in Mexico. They were 100% in Mexico. And Emily talks about it on the Amazon documentary that her family owns a house in Mexico. They were there. And I'm like, how the fuck did JLR know this shit? And then Emily says, somebody must have released somebody that was in her inner circle that had availability to, or the ability rather, to look at her Snapchat, had taken a screenshot of her Snapchats and spread them out. And I'm like, Emily should be pissed not at JLR, but at who? The person in her circle that would ever, would release that to somebody, right? And so I'm listening and watching all this stuff. And I'm like, everybody can hate on JLR all they want. Dude, I disagree with everything that he has to say about the Richard Allen case, the Karen Reed case, this case. But I will never I will never knock him for his hustle and his grind. And people close to their circle should be ashamed of themselves because they're the ones that sold out. Does that make sense? Like, they're the ones.
No, I get it. you're respecting the, like, he loves doing this, whether you agree with it or not. He works hard.
Whatever he's bringing to the table, somebody is giving it to him.
Right.
And then he's putting it out there, right?
Yep.
And Emily's family threatened to sue the fuck out of him. And so he pulled these episodes. And I'm over here like, okay, I can get all that. So then I read the next chapter and I hear Karen, who's Emily's mom. Karen regularly speaks to Jessica, Hunter's mom, wondering what they can do to put an end to the online bombardment. The advice they receive from Bill Thompson's office is simply to not engage. And so there's proof of it right there. Like, it's 100% true. JLR put out information, and I know who JLR's source is. I won't reveal it. And his source, it's very, very close to the investigation. So
how close? Like one removed?
Like very close to the investigation. So
now I'm curious.
I think it's interesting because let's all be honest. When something is so off, do you take the time to like quiet it? Like, you know how many things people say about me? I'm not over there like, oh my God, I gotta get this. Dude, it's not even true. It's not even remotely true. Like, I don't even but so, how hard would you work to maybe remove something that could potentially be true? My point is, I don't even, if I'm not paying attention to online, like, how do I even know about what's being said? I don't know.
Well, I was just going to say, specific to that, I don't know. I would say this. I agree with your assessment that, like, there's people that I disagree with that they work hard. So while you can disagree, it doesn't mean that you can't, like, quote unquote, like, respect the hustle and all that stuff. I get that. And one of the things, though, that you brought up is the attack on social media, especially in the Amazon thing, but it's been going on for this whole case.
Yeah. 100%.
I brought up, don't be mad at people that now have a red flag go off. Be mad at the police department for waiting 4 days to have a to hold a press conference, and you don't even say the fucking victim's names right.
Yeah.
Like, be mad at all that. Don't have Steve G and Chrissy go in front of the Moscow PD and say, oh, no, we're not allowed to talk about it. Oh, no, we don't know anything. Oh, they say, oh, we got this big break in the case. And then we watch news and it's just something stupid. It's like, you can't go do an interview like that. You can't hold a press conference that late and then not, like, you're never going to stop the social media machine. You need to hold the people who caused the social media machine,
right? Like, who didn't put it, like,
exactly.
Who didn't fuck with it. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to show you the I just want to laugh a little bit because I love JLR.
I am covering the Moscow, Idaho, Brian Coburger case.
This is 2 years ago.
Let's talk about Bethany Funk and Brian Coburger. Bethany Funk. I am wondering if the defense ever got to speak to Bethany Funk with this so-called interview that was scheduled to happen in the Nevada area, Reno, Nevada. Bethany Funk, after the Moscow tragedy occurred, went down to Reno, Nevada, stayed with her family, and the defense has, subpoenaed her and claimed that she had exculpatory evidence. And
she does.
Bethany Funk.
Okay, so listen. So in the book and in the Amazon, when Emily says that Dylan goes downstairs and she's like, oh my God, did you hear all that? And Emily says that Bethany says, no, what are you talking about? I didn't hear anything. Like, no, I don't know what you're like. No, I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, that's motherfucking exculpatory, because at the time that she would have supposedly ran down and said that to her, and for Bethany to say, I have no idea what you're talking about, or no, I didn't hear that. It's like, then that fucks up the timeline. You know what I mean?
It totally does. It does. I think there's a couple of things that could fuck up the timeline.
I'm just over here like, this is fucking 2 years ago. Look at him. Look at him. I love it. Look at little
Jill. A recent post of her again in California with one of her friends.
Go watch.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Okay, so this is a public Instagram post by a Avery Grogan, San Diego, California. This was posted in May of this year, 2023. And as you see, there is Bethany Funk.
Bethany don't give a fuck. What do you think about that? Like, do you remember all this stuff? Like, he is not wrong. She is at a San Diego fucking sorority party. San Diego. In May of 2023. Do you remember these?
No, I've watched these videos.
He's like breaking news. And I was like, how did he get this, right? Well, because his sources were that good.
Why do you think he gets crazy sources? Do you think
like
outside of the hustle, what do you think it is?
He gets really good sources, and his sources are really close to the investigation.
But what I'm asking is like, what's the? And I'm not asking this for any.
No, I think that this is a family source. I have no problem saying it. I think that one of his sources is the family.
One of the surviving roommates in the Moscow, Idaho tragedy, and she is with a group of friends here, and it looks like it was posted from San Diego, California. Don't know if they were just partying. It says halfway there already, semester 4, or celebrating possibly one of Bethany Funk friends here who is in college, maybe completing a semester and has more semesters to go. I'm assuming this photograph was taken in California. And it looks like lately Bethany Funk has been in California. Will she go back to Idaho to testify in any legal proceedings to the Brian Coburger case? She's in California. I've already posted another video of her recently in San Francisco. So San Francisco, San Diego. What's going on with Bethany Funk here?
What's going on?
What is going on? Will she testify in the Brian Coburger case, or will she just stay in California. Or Reno, Nevada, where she's originally from? I want to know what you think. San Diego, California area.
Right, I watched this.
So that's 2 times in the last few months. And San Diego is quite far from San Francisco. So
yeah,
what's going on here? Is Bethany, did she relocate to California? Picture of 4 of them, friends with Bethany Funk, wearing a van, friend of the photo.
Wait,
Return to the University of Idaho this coming fall.
Will she return?
And some people out there are speculating she won't, and she might even possibly transfer to another college. Let me show you another recent post by her friend with Bethany Funk in the photo.
I love him.
So this is another public Instagram post by the same Avery Grogan, assuming she is a friend of Bethany Funk, and it's a picture of 4 of them, friends with Bethany Funk, wearing a Vandals shirt, and each one here is wearing a different college shirt. San Diego State, I believe, is Avery Grogan, where she goes, and then Nevada here, and OSU,
Oregon State.
Bethany here with the Vandals. So I think in this photograph here, everyone is proud to show where they're going to college. You know, college is a big thing for any person to go to. They take that as a badge of honor, and they represent where they go.
Fuck yeah, they do.
The question is, will Bethany Funk transfer colleges and not go to the University of Idaho anymore? And maybe since she's been in California lately, maybe transfer to San Diego State with her friend? What do you think?
I'm like, how the fuck does he know this, right? Right? And this is how he knows this. He has dude, he's really good friends with Steve's sons, Steve Jr. or whatever he is. They are engaged now, I think. Olivia Chronicles with Olivia. They're really good friends. But like Bethany looks like she ain't fucking missed a beat, man.
Yeah.
She's partying. I love it though. Like if she's taken
You
up
would have
on
never thought.
like according to the Ethan's family, they're like, dude, Ethan would want you to live your life, okay? So go live your life. And I'm like, you know what? When you put it that way, like, so you got to put everything in perspective. But that's the message that Ethan's family was putting out, that we're gonna buy you mimosas and you're gonna live your life. So that's Bethany. That was JLR, and that was
That was 2 years ago.
It was going into, it was 2023. Yeah, 2024.
Yeah. I think the sources are for sure impressive. I think your laugh at the way that he said California, Bethany, Funk, or however he was saying it. Like I couldn't stop laughing at every time I could tell he was about to say it. I would hear like your laugh start.
I just love him.
I mean, you can't knock people who get you leads, or that get leads.
Oh yeah, and I think that his lead. I mean, clearly, where would he get? How would he know that to look up Avery Grogan? Okay, clearly somebody is pumping. Like somebody has. Okay, if you had, I don't know, Kaylee's phone and you were on Kaylee's phone, and it was public, but versus like private, and you were like see stuff. I'm just saying, like this is here that's Bethany. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's just so interesting to me. I don't know. He's got good sources, and I just know that it's family. It's close. It's close. They're good sources. He's not. This isn't a fucking made up shit.
So when you say then you disagree, I'm just saying out of curiosity, is it like the spin? Not the spin. Is it just like the interpretation, or maybe the way that he puts it out?
No,
like,
this is all true. What he put out?
No, I know, but in general though, like you were saying, like you disagree with everything he says. It just
I disagree with like his take on, like, he thinks Karen Reed's guilty. I'm like, Karen's innocent. He thinks Richard Allen's guilty. I'm like, Richard Allen's innocent. Brian Coburger, I was waiting for the trial. I don't know what Brian Coburger was. Now that Brian Coburger has said he's guilty, I'm like, well, he's guilty until he would tell me something else. You know what I mean? I'm saying when we're on the opposite side of cases, it's he thinking something is guilty or innocent. I think everybody is they're innocent in terms of you're cloaked in it until you go to court. And I think it's important that you should never feel that you have to prove your innocence, because guess what, guys? You can't in some certain, because you can't prove a negative. That's why we cannot burden shift. The burden is on the state to prove that you are guilty. Okay?
Right.
Think about when you get pulled over for a fucking stupid speeding ticket. All right? Like, what do you mean? I'm fucking moving with the flow of traffic. Let's say you got me in 67 and a 60, okay? Well, everybody else, why did you pull me over, motherfucker? Well, just your lucky day, okay? But you still have to prove that I was going 67 just because you come to my fucking car and tell me that I was going 67. Okay, prove it.
Show me the radar gun. I don't have the radar gun. I was pacing you.
Yeah, well then guess what? It looks like I'm gonna win in court.
Yeah.
If I want to fight it, you know what I mean? Like it just, we cannot change the burden needs to stay where it's at. Because let's talk about if it wasn't murder and if it was custody of kids. Let's talk about that. Maybe that will make people realize that when you want to talk about murder, let's talk about the custody of your kid. How could you prove that you're a good parent? What if I just asked you one day if you did blah, blah on this day, and you're like, how can I prove that I did or didn't do that? Well, by God, you weren't taking pictures every 2 seconds that you were with your kid? You're like, what?
Yeah, that's like framing it differently like that, whether it's custody of the kid. I mean, we've
How do you
had
prove a negative. You can't prove a negative. That's why you have to make people prove what they're saying.
I always wondered how different the case would be if Dylan and Bethany were men. Do you think they would have been detained?
No, I think it would have been the same.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the thing that was really going for them was the whole texting.
Yeah.
That really went for them. I think that they were on the radar for a while until then they saw the car that sped away right when they're saying stuff. So that really, like, you know.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would have gone against them if they were men is that 4 people being killed by 2 men is more believable than maybe, you know what I mean? Like from a narrative standpoint, not a motive, not an evidence. I'm just saying, like, what do you think the news would have done with it? Because I feel like they were cleared relatively quickly. As I think they said, was it the first or the second police conference where they said
that? Actually, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. That's what divided the families.
Was the police conference or the roommates?
I'm so glad you said that. Actually, what divided the families was when they said that if you would have never said, what was it? Hold on. I want to say it. I don't want to. I could just ballpark it, but it's better if I just do this. Okay. Okay. Chapter 34. No, hold on. Okay. One word they keep on using for Brian Coburger throughout this whole, 168 chapters is bulging eyes. Instead of talking about dark or bushy eyebrows, they just say bulging eyes. Do you guys think that's crazy or what? I don't like those of you guys, once you get this book, it's not about bushy eyebrows. They do not even use the term bushy eyebrows. They say bulging eyes. That's what's used. Now, I couldn't even believe it. They weren't even talking about bushy eyebrows. Now, going back to what we just said, which was help me, Birdie.
We were talking about the roommates or the division of the families.
Yes. Okay. It was when the Gonsalves family came out, and it was about when they got on the mic and they did an interview with Olivia, and they said that they just said that so-and-so was cleared way too, we think so-and-so was cleared way too quickly. Remember that?
Yep.
Well, and went over it and over, and I was like, dude, they're talking about a girl. Well, I would be proven right when this book says, because it was about Emily. Emily was cleared too quickly. Emily's family said, I really wish that Steve's wife would have never came out and said that people were cleared too quickly, because that's what brought on the stuff that we went through. But when you read the book, you see who that was actually. So if you guys want to know, here's a big bombshell. The person that they said that got cleared too quickly was Emily, according to the Gonsalveses, with that interview. According to the book, the way that it makes it seem. And I knew that it was a female because, remember the way that Christy and Steve said it? They were like, we want to know her alibi. Remember all that?
Yeah.
What's her alibi? She has a really good alibi. And it's like, but remember, Emily, according to the book, wakes up at 1:50 in the morning. And it's like, I'm not going to lie to you guys, just so you know, if you were sleeping from, let's say, 8 p.m. until 1:50, let's say, in the morning, and you wake up and you got all this energy, right? Well, according to Emily, it was, we locked the door. Hunter locked the door and we went back to bed. But at 1:50 in the morning, Hunter texts Ethan and says, are you still at the Sigma Chi house? I'll say it verbatim.
And while you're finding that was one of those like Spidey sense moments that I have where I'm like, what are the odds again that night that this all goes down, you just have this, at least the way that they made it sound in the Amazon series, you just have this inkling. Let's make sure our doors are locked.
Yeah, we've never knocked our doors. Yeah.
And nobody thinks maybe you knew some shit was going to go down. Maybe knew you might have been implicated in it. Maybe knew you could have been a target. Instead, everybody chalks it up to like, oh, that's just a gut feeling. Evil.
I think they locked the doors. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they locked the doors because of what they did the night before with the, what do you call it? The prank. Does that make sense?
Oh, because they trolled them and shit?
Yes, they fucking trolled the fuck out of them. That's why. Okay,
that's probably one of the most like
Logical.
That was one of the most like in the beginning, how is Kaylee and the whole DM thing? I do believe that they could have been trolling. And then especially when you hear about they had to have been sober if they wanted to go to the formal with the bus ride and all that. Like that makes so much fucking sense. Way more than her being the actual +1 to Dylan.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They tried to have that sorority believe that Dylan was bringing Kaylee as a +1 to get them all like fuck yeah. Oh, it was the best troll ever. Like I loved it. Like cheer them up. Here I found the okay, so here I can put it in here. It was at okay. So ready. At 1:56 a.m. You guys want to see it? I'll put it on the screen. This is from the book of James Patterson's book.
The live camera.
Are you okay? I've kept you for like ever. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. I want to see this. And then I might have to bounce.
Okay, no, you're good. Here, this is
the live camera thing is sick. What is this?
Oh yeah, you like that?
It is. Is it a website or do you have like a webcam separate?
Yeah. No, this is like, like when you were in school back in the day.
A projector.
Yeah, bitch.
Pre smart boards.
Fucking Hector, baby. Hector, my projector. Yeah, I'll email you if you're interested in one.
Yeah.
No, it's sweet. So then you can mark it up. You can do like watch like
it's like an overhead cam. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's sweet. So wait, where are we? That's just okay. So here I'm gonna move to this page.
Did that page just say the girls flirt a little?
Oh yeah, with Jack Decor. I mean no with Jack. What's his name? He flirted.
Hoodie guy,
yeah. You didn't know about that? Hold on.
Sorry, not to get you off pace, but
yeah,
I just felt like the girls flirt a little.
Yeah, that was okay. So here. Oh wait, I gotta go this.
You're saying in the moment at the food truck, that's what they meant.
Yeah, no, they were flirting with him. So like it was actually at here, where is that?
When he got the bird and they ran away from him?
Yeah, the girls flirted a little with him. Kaylee asks if he wants to go to a different party, but he's tired supposedly. Speaking of, so are they. It's been a long day, and I think there's like must be text message. Remember how like it would look like if Kaylee's trying to be like nonchalant, like talking to that dude, right? It's nuts, but there's clearly flirting that's going on between Kaylee and Hoodie Guy.
I guess I would have never interpreted it that way.
Yeah, and I think it's the reason they're putting it in the book is I think that there's text messages that prove it. So there it is. It's
right there, right. The girls flirt a little with him. Kaylee asks if he's interested in going to another party somewhere, but he's tired. Didn't they walk away from him?
Yeah, no, this was at at 1:30 see how it says at the grub truck?
Yeah. I can picture exactly what
so
that's.
It's not
referring.
like Jack D. Yes. This is Kaylee orders and then they know the guy in the hoodie who's standing behind them, Jack Showalter. See that?
Yeah.
He's an occasional visitor to King Road. He's a good guy, they think. You see that right there? It's because he's one of, I don't know if you know this, out of the 4 alternate perpetrators, he's one of them, just so you know.
No, I
it's Brent, him, and I'll reveal the other 2 after the gag.
I'm just caught off guard on the flirting thing.
Oh yeah, because there's text messages.
But I get the text messages now if he knows that in the book, because everybody in America was like, fucking hoodie guy, look into him.
And I think Kaylee was keeping that hush from, like, I've always said this. I was like, I'll pull up the episodes when I said, it's like, is there any chance that Kaylee was ever hooking up with Homeboy and nobody knew about it, right? Because the only person that didn't have a boyfriend was Kaylee, because Maddie's with Jake, and I'm like, the only person that could ever be like what she, remember how he looks at the phone and then he puts it away and he would just be like, here, I'll just act like I'm just like walking you guys down or whatever. Like,
What if he was there to like get laid? Like he was like,
I'll tell you what he was there for. I think that he went to the house. There's no doubt about it. Why do you think he?
I
I don't think that's anybody, but he's a very good person for the defense to use as like anybody sees that video, y'all, in a murder trial. That's reasonable. There's so much reasonable motherfucking doubt. It's not even funny, but it doesn't mean that Brian's innocent. I'm just saying I can't believe that the state didn't try to cut a deal with this person way long ago before you would reveal all this shit.
That's what I know. What are you doing? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get it.
And that's the problem that I have wrapping my head around it is you get to this point and you run all these people down through the mud and the state should be like, wait, this little punk wants out now? Fuck no. Like, that's why the state should be like, awesome, if you want a deal, we're not giving it to you.
That's like, what you would think.
That's what it should be. And the state should fucking put his dick in the dirt. And that's what Steve Gonsalves is saying. And I'm with him on that because you just took us through the fucking ringer and everybody else and all the victims and the roommates and the friends. And now you want a plea deal and you guys are going to give it to him? What the fuck is going on here? And that's where I'm like, he's right. Steve is right. And everybody else is like, oh, thank God there's a plea deal. And I'm like,
yeah.
What? And that's why Steve is over here saying, listen, this may look bad for people and people may get embarrassed. I don't think Kaylee was going to be that person. I don't think that Steve was going to be that family. I think the embarrassment and whatever was going to come out was not on that family. And that's why they were so vocal and other people weren't. And that's what makes sense. That's the logic. Okay?
I don't disagree. I think a lot of people got caught up in Steve G wanting Brian Coburger to be dead, but I think it was really Steve G was pissed that it wasn't going to go to trial, not necessarily just solely for the firing squad, even though he made it
family to be off the hook.
I think he wanted to see what came out.
Crazy people out there saying all this stupid shit, you know?
Well, and I want to bring up somebody mentioned in the chat, Bella said, yet Kaylee's calling Jack off the chain.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like going back to that, like we were talking about Showalter, she wasn't calling Jack Showalter all those times.
No. I think that it was, again, it's a narrative. Okay, so I think they were talking about going to the Sigma Chi party. Okay, makes sense. So if she's going to ask him, do you want to go to another party? I don't believe that he was tired though, because if he was tired and he wasn't their ride, then why are you sticking around at the grub truck? Like that's James Patterson keeping a narrative. Makes sense? So it
totally makes sense.
What I take from this is, and here are my little notes about this, and here I'm going to zoom in because my notes on this is the girls are dead. So who gives this account? Okay. So if the girls are dead,
that's a good point. Who's
the fucking source? Okay. So you guys want to see my shit? You guys want to buy my fucking, how I fucking marked this book up? Is I said, who would possibly be the source to say that they know the guy in the hoodie who's standing behind them? Who would give that account?
Yeah, because they're both dead. They're
both dead, right? Jack Showalter, and they put comma Jack Showalter, right? Then it says he's an occasional visitor to King Road. Then it says he's a good guy, comma they think. And I said, what? Like, who's putting this as they think? Like, is he not? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, wait, who's the source of this if it's not their phones? You get what I'm saying? Like, who would be the source of these statements?
That's a statement made that's just not used in a quote. Right? Like for the book, they were flirting. Like, he's a good guy, they think. That's a statement that's made by somebody. It's not either of those two. It was a source, like you said. It's just not.
And I think that comes from Olivia. I think that this comment comes from Olivia.
That's a great take. I could totally see that coming from Olivia.
So I feel that, all right. And then you have to go back to the situation. So like, let's play this out. Like me and you, we're walking down, right? Yeah. So I'm over there trying to talk to my supposed ex-boyfriend, right? Jack D, right? And then now, why would you think about this? If I'm not letting anybody know about I had a date in September and I told some guy to go fuck himself off of some quesadilla that, then you're walking me and Maddie down to the grub truck, right? And you're not in the same fraternity. You're like, according to everybody, this dude is like a stranger. He's not like one of their friends, right? So you're walking with us, and I've done this before where I have to act like, here, we're just going to act like we don't really know each other, But why the fuck would you don't go up to the front, I don't know, the cashier to say, hey, I want whatever. You just hang back. Well, that looks like you're either giving us a ride or like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Or you're just like keeping an eye on them.
But you're not. Like that doesn't make any sense.
No, that doesn't make sense. I agree.
He's not keeping an eye. It seems like something veered. It seems like, I don't know what text messages possibly could have happened between by the time that they ordered to the time that they're about to leave. But this dude, if you read the book, and it says the girls, plural, and I think that's being kind by saying the girls flirt a little with him. Like that's basically saying that Kaylee and Maddie flirted with him. What are you talking about? Is Jack D your source? And I said, oh my God, no, guess who your source is? Your source is also the fucking cop that actually interviewed Jack, or not Jack D, but Jack Showalter. So this is how I think this all played out. Again, this is just my opinion. I don't have proof. But I believe that the person that interviewed Jack Showalter was like, yo, hold on. I didn't fucking kill nobody. Are you kidding me? Those Kaylee or Maddie, they were both like flirting with me. And they asked me like, hey, if I wanted to fucking go, I had to walk to my car. And I flirted with her a bunch of different times, like after she broke up with so-and-so and blah, blah. And yeah. And I stuck around because I'm not going to lie to you. Like I thought maybe I'd have a chance to fuck her. Okay. Because the way that she was being, right? Who's going to have that statement? Kaylee, who's not alive, Maddie, who's not alive, or their phones, or Jack D. But this cannot just like come up this has to come from something. It would have to be text messages, or it would have to be Jack D, which would come from, I don't believe that Jack D was interviewed for this because he got with his parents right away and he didn't say a word. But I believe that he did talk to the police at one point, and I think that police officer relayed this part.
Because if it wasn't, like, if you really wanted to hammer home that he was uninvolved, you would say
he gave us
or there's no motive. There's nothing. You wouldn't say he's a good guy. They think. I mean, maybe you could.
Okay, that's what I was asking myself. I was like, I was like, he's a good guy. They think. I'm like, they. Yeah. What do you mean they think? They're dead. How could they think that he's a good guy unless they're talking back and forth in some type of manner, or Kaylee is talking to somebody during that time point to say, and then she's like, somebody gets her to snap out of it, and she's like, okay, let me call Jack D. But and then they were gonna go, and at the last minute, which makes sense to me, is okay, let's just call so and so, and then we'll get a different ride, and I'm not gonna leave with him. You're right, like her and Kaylee, like meaning Maddie and Kaylee, and okay, you're right. Like I'm just like, let's get a ride.
That's why he does this.
Yeah, and he's just like, wait, what's and then so he goes off. But for James Patterson to put that the girls were flirting with him, like this should be everybody's like, whoa, what?
Yeah, that's what caught my eye right before you flip the page. I'm like,
yeah, and then to say like that Kaylee, that means it's in a text message. It's either in a text message or it's what a police officer is saying. So think about this when you sit him down and you're like, hey, we came across this video. Here you are. You're in a hoodie. Well, first of all, you're in a hat. Then you turn your hat. Then you put your hoodie up. It looks like you're trying to conceal yourself. What's going on? And
I would be like, where exactly did you go?
Her before. We used to hook up. Nobody would know about it. And I was going to give them a ride home. Like, they just think that, like, I'm just some random. but really I'm close with Kaylee and blah, blah, blah.
Well, and to add another question.
And I just fucking said, fuck her.
I agree that would have to be your answer. It would have to be. You would have to come clean to that.
100. That's your only answer. Otherwise, you look like a complete otherwise you the killer, motherfucker.
But the only additional question that if I was law enforcement, I would say, well, where exactly did you go?
Yeah.
So if you followed them there and you were intending to give them a ride, you clearly stayed there. There was something of interest that kept you there. If it, like, I understand you're telling me that, but it still doesn't answer where did you go?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at that point for these cops when they actually talk to him. They're like, we have this DNA, right? We have blood and we have a sheath, right? And all you have to say to somebody is it doesn't matter. Are you willing to give your DNA and are you willing to give your cell phone over? And what I'm curious is did Jack Showalter give? I just care about his cell phone. I don't care about the fucking DNA. I want to know if Jack Showalter gave his cell phone over, and I want to know when they asked for it, because that's the only way these people were cleared. And I think Jack Showalter is one of those 4 alternate perpetrators, and he gave his cell phone and he gave his DNA, and it wasn't underneath anybody's, obviously, like, wasn't there, right? It's not the blood, but more importantly, it's not on the sheath. That's all they were concerned about, because they didn't even fucking run the blood at that point. So, but back to this question before you leave, because this is a good one. Ready?
Yep.
At 1:56 then, or I'm sorry, at 1:50, Hunter Johnson texts Ethan to ask if he's still at the Sigma Chi party, okay? Emily is still asleep, though. Kaylee and Maddie head back to home, blah, blah. At 2 a.m., Ethan responds to Hunter, so that'd be 10 minutes later. But then here it is at, here we go. Take a look at this. Okay, so at 2:20, according to the book, at 2:26, we'll start at 2:15. Kaylee and Maddie chat on the couch, and this is coming from Dylan, who told Emily, which, according to the police, they were not on the couch and they were actually up in her room. But according to Emily, this is the version. Kaylee and Maddie chat on the couch a little longer and then go upstairs and collapse on Maddie's bed. And it's interesting that they would put it this way, because that would mean that nobody changed into pajamas. Okay. Murphy. Kaylee's golden doodle is in Kaylee's room. Kaylee often leaves Murphy, in her room. For the umpteenth time, Kaylee tells her friend that she's unsure what to do with her ex, Jack. They start texting him. He leaves. Again, this is all, this is the stuff that is narrative. You know what I mean? Like, they're not alive to fucking talk about any of this shit. He lives only 3 doors down. Kaylee misses him. She wants him to come over. Then it goes to this. 2:26. Kaylee phones Jack. He's asleep and doesn't hear her call. And according to our sources, he just is actually ignoring her. But whatever. She calls a second time. She calls a third time. She calls a fourth time, a fifth time. Between 2:26 and 2:44. Kaylee calls Jack a 6th time. Then Maddie phones him 3 more times. And this is when I said, yeah, because her phone died, then she uses her phone. Makes sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So then he sleeps through all of them. Notice how it just comes here in the 2:44 time frame that he sleeps through all of them, blissfully unaware of the imminent danger. What the fuck, imminent danger? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
dude?
that's narrative. That's but
no, the imminent danger would mean that there's imminent danger means that it's right. That imminent is then. So James Patterson is basically saying that at 2:44 that there's danger, because imminent means, if you really like, why are you using this word? This word should never be used where it's at, actually.
I wonder too. I agree. That's a narrative. I believe that last, those last 5 words, 6 words are. That's a narrative.
Fuck him, right?
Yeah, and
then this is where it gets good. It's at 3 a.m. Emily wakes up, and this is why Steve G has an issue. Okay. Emily wakes up. Now, who could possibly give that narrative? Not Kaylee. Nobody that's dead. The only person that could give that narrative is Emily, right? Mm-hmm. Emily wakes up at the Whites. And it's important that they say, hey, I woke up at the Whites, which is her apartment, which is right across the street. Yep. So, 2, do Josie. So everybody happens to go to bed at 9. Okay, think about how crazy this is. 9 p.m. Everybody that goes to bed at 9 p.m. wakes up at 3. Make sense? Like, so do Josie and Lyndon, who they date. Josie realizes that she left her phone in her car. Let me tell you why this is important. Because they must have, hey, Josie, we got your phone because you let us download it, right? Well, your phone shows that you were walking around at 3 a.m. Ready? Oh, yeah. That's because I left my phone in my car. Now think about that. Well, that's what I would say too. But where was your car parked, sugar tits? Okay, where was your car parked? She's giving herself, I had to go get my car. I had to go get my phone because it was in my car. I left it in my car. My phone was in my... Now, let's be honest with each other. We in college, I either would have to be smashed to fucking days to leave my motherfucking phone without me. Okay? But Josie's on a vacation. She tells the police, oh, I left my phone in my car, so I had to go outside and get it at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., I go to get my car. I go to my car to get my phone, and that's what started my steps. Because you have to think about this. How would this ever even come up, right? Like that you would even, like, you would just,
you made such a good point about that.
You have to ask somebody, like, because somebody is, oh, can we take your phone? Oh, sure, yeah, you can download it. So we get all these phones, we download them. And then we're like, dude, this fucking bitch told me that she was sleeping. Oh, so we have to go ask her about this, right? Oh, I woke up and I actually went and got my phone. I peed and I realized my phone wasn't there and it was in my car. So I actually went out to my car and I got my phone and then I came back inside, right? Because you have to explain the steps that are associated with your data.
Right. I understand that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's explaining her steps. So her steps are being explained by, hey, Emily, 3 a.m. Emily wakes up at the Whites, which is hilarious. They even have to write that. So too do Josie and Lyndon. Josie and Lyndon, that's a boy. They date. Josie realizes that she's left her phone in her car. She goes to get it. It's foggy out. She thinks it's dark and quiet. Like, why are we? Because they're taking this shit from the police report. When she comes back,
You're right.
Hunter Johnson gets up and locks the door to the apartment, not just like a bedroom, but Josie doesn't lock the door, but Hunter locks the door. Like, bitch, you just walked outside. You just got in your car. You got your phone and then you didn't lock it, but somebody makes a point because guess what? Hunter has steps on his phone, right? So Hunter has to explain why he has steps on his phone at 3 a.m. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we're not saying that any of these people are lying. Okay. They may be, but I'm letting you know that the police were clearly interested in, okay, you guys have these stories that you went to bed at 9. And I don't know. We went to bed at 9. We were just at the house. Well, guess what? We asked for your phones. You guys all had that app called, Apple blah, blah. And your phone has, 300 steps at 3 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck were you doing? Oh, I walked out to my car because I didn't have my phone. And I was walking around trying to find it. Realized I left my phone out in my car. I went out and grabbed it, got my phone, came back in, right? Yeah. Well, guess what? That should only be like 30 steps, not 300. If a good detective, but they were clearly asked this.
It does read like a police report.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, it does. And here it is that everybody, because this would be the whole thing, right? Now think about this. Ready? They were trying to figure out where Xana and Ethan were, right? From 9 until, what's going on with Ethan and Xana, right? Well, what if there's people that are actually at the Sigma Chi house that said, They left at like, I don't know, like 11 or 12, like, man. And then you got the dad saying they were at the fucking house. I talked to her. She said they were staying in watching a movie and they were ordering pizza. Think about all this shit, right? So when the cops are actually downloading these phones and actually looking at them at some point, whether it was in the beginning of the investigation or once they realized that Ann Taylor and Brian Coburger are going to be putting up a fight with everything, we need to get our fucking shit in gear. And they're like, oh, fuck, look at all this shit. Motherfuckers are all walking around. What the hell are you guys? You guys are all up at 3 a.m. I thought y'all were sleeping. Oh, we just got our phones. You know what I mean?
What time did you say that Maddie started calling Jack? So that was
it was in between like 2:44.
2:44.
Yeah, I think it was up 2:44 right here.
Do you know how you were saying that Kaylee's phone died?
Yeah, I think that Kaylee's phone died and that Kaylee was using Maddie's phone.
What if this was something that was like actually really urgent and Kaylee was trying to get a hold of Jack, but knew Jack was mad at him, so she's like, "Fuck it, Maddie, you call him." Like
that's what I thought at first. It didn't even matter if it was. It didn't even matter about danger. It was about if you're not going to talk. Like
they needed to get a hold of Jack.
Yeah, like let me use your phone because he'll answer it.
Right. That. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 100. Yeah, we're on the same page with that. I think that it would have been Kaylee using it for whatever reason. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also think that Kaylee would have used it if my phone died and I'm lazy. I'm not going to go downstairs in my fucking Range Rover, go grab my fucking plug it in. Let me just use I'm going to use your phone and I'm just going to call him from that. It wouldn't even have to be something sinister.
The phone left in the car too. Sounds like
that's what Josie says here. I
know. That just sounds like a cover in general. It sounds like I was outside fucking around.
No, I don't even think that's what it was like. You have to explain these steps. So this is how they're explaining them. And then so here so after like when she comes back in, Hunter Johnson gets up. So think about this. Josie just comes in from outside and Hunter Johnson just is like, oh, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go walk over and I'm going to lock the door. Why wouldn't Josie lock it after So he and Emily go to sleep. No one thinks to text Ethan or Xana because this is why this is important. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows that your friends just text you, right? Like, hey, where are you? Or we're coming over or whatever. And the reason that he has to write this in there is because your friends just text you a couple minutes ago. You guys are up walking around. You guys have your phone. You guys normally text your friends. Why wouldn't you text them back? Why would you just ignore them? You would never ignore them.
No.
And so that's why this is the narrative with that. And so it's like clearly Ethan and Xana must have been texting these people. And what all I'm trying to say is at 3 a.m., there was no texting them back. And the reason why is that this is what he's saying is no one thinks to text Ethan or Xana. They assume everyone is asleep. Meaning this is that when we woke up and we saw those text messages, they were just, 30 or 45 minutes ago, right? And we didn't think to even text them. Well, guess what? You don't text somebody because guess what you always do? That's why he has to say that they woke up at the Whites. Emily wakes up at the Whites because what the argument was is that what if Emily and Hunter and them didn't wake up at the Whites and they actually woke up at 1122? Okay. That would be a reason that you wouldn't text somebody. Okay. I don't text people when I'm with them. Or when I'm driving in a car and after 30 minutes and they maybe have texted me in 10 minutes, I get out of the car and then I'm with them. I don't text them, But here, there's a lot of explaining of whatever is in people's phones at the 3 o'clock hour. It is very problematic for people in this, and the reason that they're pointing out the Whites of where they slept is because what it would look like is are you sure that you weren't at 1122? What it looks like is that you passed out, woke up, and why you're walking at 3 o'clock in the morning is because you're walking from a location to the Whites. You get what I'm saying?
And then that's why.
And what they're trying to say is, no. I was walking because my steps had to do with me getting up and locking the door. And then Josie's like, oh, my steps are because I woke up and I went out to my car because I realized that I didn't have my phone. And I walk out to my car and I get my phone out of my car and then I come back in.
So you're saying
they're all making up excuses as to why they have steps at 3:00 in the morning.
That's what pisses me the most off about, or that's what pisses me off the most about the narrative is there's like a guilt buffer built in. You know what I mean? So like, you're right. Let's say that wasn't, they woke up at the Whites. They woke up at King Road.
I believe they did wake up at King Road.
And then they're going to walk home.
It wasn't even the fact that they woke up there. They could have been, their phone's all down on a table. So it's not calculating steps, right? Until the moment that I touch my phone, right? And that's why they make it a point to talk about the steps, or that's why they make it a point to talk about Hunter Johnson's phone, and that it was actually at the house from 4 to 6. And people are taking selfies on it because he didn't have it. But then somehow he manages to get it at 6:30. And it's like, all I know is this. This is all I know about this case. Give me the motherfucking discovery and I will tell you all what the fuck happened.
I can't get out of my head because I never thought about the fact that maybe they woke up at King Road until you just said that. Honestly, like right hand on the Bible. And then I start thinking about that story. They're outside. It's dark. It's foggy. They think it's quiet. Hunter locks the door.
That would make sense that you were somewhere else and then you were walking across to wherever the fuck you were going.
And they're telling the truth because let's say they go to wherever they're going and Hunter does lock the door then because Hunter's with them.
Well, no, what Hunter said is that he's never locked the door ever. He did the video on Amazon. He was like, I don't know, something like came over me and I just like woke up and I went and I locked the door and I never locked the door.
How have we never?
It just came out. It just came out like 4 days ago. So
yeah, I was gonna say, and I have the book. I ordered the book.
Yeah, it's good. I think if you want to do timelines, it's great.
Is it written in a timeline fashion? Is every page written with the times like that?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's why I'm creating this.
What is that?
It's a Excel spreadsheet that basically points out whatever the chapter is in the date, and it points out like what is important about it, and then what they think the purpose is of the chapter. This is what Lana thinks the purpose of the book thinks is the
That's
purpose.
Hilarious.
This is Lana's finds and important hints include. Fucking James Patterson can think whatever the fuck he wants, but that motherfucker doesn't know shit.
So did James Patterson actually write this book or slap his name on it? Because when I was doing some research on like the book itself,
Vicky did a lot of writing of it. Vicky Ward, but Vicky Ward's a good writer. Vicky Ward did all the shit with Epstein. So,
well, look how Epstein turned out.
Yeah,
we're never gonna know. I have a feeling we're never gonna know.
So here, look at this. This is the 4 o'clock mark. So you see that it goes from 3:17 down there. Or I'm sorry, 3 o'clock. So then here at 4:17, then it bumps up here, right? I'm sorry, 4. Look at this.
Xana's food arrives.
Xana's food arrives. It ought to be the ordinary end of an ordinary game day, except for Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. It isn't like just she ordered her food. It should have just been like it's over, like the night's over, right? And then 4:17, this is when, and this is how I know that this portion of it was added in but this is his version, which is Dylan is in her bed at 4:17, drifting in and out of a fitful post-game day sleep, because they're saying that she went to bed and was asleep at 2 a.m. Actually, she went to bed at 1, according to James Patterson, and which we know is all fucking bullshit. But when he wrote this, he didn't know that, because the documents came out after he wrote this. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I've always wondered if, you know how you were saying like that was plugged in there? Like I've always wondered if the DoorDash in general was plugged in, because if you didn't have the
I think that he was writing. I think that he was plugging things in as they happened 100%. I personally enjoy this book. It
looks like it'd be an interesting read for sure.
Oh yeah, I would buy it. Yeah, it's worth $22 or whatever it is for the hardback. And then it says the walls of her bedroom are so paper thin that earlier Dylan could hear, and this is why I think that Dylan, when she talks about that earlier, Dylan could hear almost everything Maddie and Kaylee and Ethan and Xana were saying as they chatted on the couch in the living room. This is everything opposite that once the documents came out. This is opposite of that because according to the documents, it was Dylan and Bethany up in Maddie's room with Kaylee and Maddie, and that those two weren't home yet. You know what I mean?
And then wasn't it when they did get home, they were debating to go back out for food?
Well, no, that's what happened up in that room. And if this is true, if this, like, this is where this kind of blows up in Patterson's face. This is where if I was Patterson, I'd be like, fucking dude, I want page 67. I want my chance at that again. You know what I mean? Because this is not, whoever's giving me this isn't right. Because that's not where this, first of all, Xana and Ethan weren't home yet when they were supposedly up in Maddie's room having this conversation. And then those two supposedly came down, went to bed. So his book has it as different, but I'll tell you what right now is that if you could hear this and if Xana, like, who could possibly give this, everybody minus Dylan and Bethany are dead. So the only people that could possibly be in there, they were supposedly not the sources of the book. Dylan and Bethany could only be the sources because everybody else is dead, right?
Well, that's what wonders me. That's what makes me wonder if, like, initially Dylan's story.
Cops could be.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then she says, next thing that she hears is the familiar stomping as they go upstairs. She can dimly hear music from one of their bedrooms, but then everything turns surreal. Not sure whether she's dreaming or awake. She thinks that she's hearing someone frantically say, "There's someone here, huh?" That doesn't seem right. And yet it also does because so many people come in and out. And this is where they're just saying, oh, people just come and go. She gets up and opens her door a crack. And I'm so happy that he said this because this is where I'm going to write him a message to say, nobody in their right mind ever would open up their door a crack unless you have something to fear. You open up your door for a purpose or you don't open it at all. But if you are opening it for a crack, there's a reason, and that means that you have something to fear. Think about when you're a little kid and your parents are arguing, okay? Mm-hmm. You don't, if you're going to go out of your room, you open it up and you walk out. If you're trying to sneak and peek, you open it so that you can peek.
Right.
If you're opening your door like he's trying to say here,
you don't want to be seen.
Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. If I'm in a house with my college roommates, for the record, I got something for you guys. Ready? Here we go. Let's bring it in, folks. Where is our model? Here it is. I'm going to introduce you guys to the model. Okay. Oh, shit. All right, here it is. Ready? 1, 2. Let me just make this bigger.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Wow.
You like that model? This is the first 2 floors. The other back was being made.
Wow.
Yeah, I was making a good ass model here. This is my dollhouse. It's pretty sweet. Look at how fucking sick this is.
I mean, it is.
Get over here. Get over here, you little fucker. Isn't that sick?
That is sick.
Sick.
I mean, and you think about it, that's what a jury was going to look at.
Yeah, they were. Bottom line is that everybody's lying. Look at that dollhouse. You're like, what the fuck? You guys like that? That's a good dollhouse, though, no?
It is. It is.
Here, we'll go back to this. Yeah, so that's a dollhouse. But point of the moral of the story here, I'll even put this back up. How do I do this? Oh, wait, there you go. This is all bullshit. This is all absolute goddamn bullshit. And how I can tell you this is bullshit is Dylan has nothing to fear. If people are in my house and being loud, what the fuck are y'all doing? Shut up.
Right.
I'm going to come out and I'm going to get rowdy.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't disagree. I totally think that what you just did is way more of a believable action.
It's insane. And so here, wait, where is it at? Right. Next thing she hears is the familiar stomping. Okay, so they go upstairs. Okay. But then everything turns surreal. Okay, okay, so then she hear where's she at? Oh yeah, she gets up and opens the door a crack. And I said, fuck you, that's a lie. Lie. Nothing. Yeah, nothing, my ass. Her ass crack. Exactly. Dylan goes back to bed, but then she hears someone crying. Is it Xana? She gets up again and opens her door a fraction of an inch. Who writes that? A fraction of an inch.
That's crazy. Unless you're selling a narrative.
Well,
or
unless
I don't get it.
What are you scared of? You shouldn't be scared of anything because you haven't seen anything. You don't see the dude until the third time. So there's nothing to be scared of. That's what people don't believe and don't get. And you would win this in a courtroom because guess what?
Exactly.
There's nothing to be scared of yet. So what are you scared of? You don't open up your door a crack. Okay. Think about your parents arguing. That's when you would. You're trying to sneak in and like listen in on something.
This is an emotional weapon.
It's
right?
just nobody's ever going to buy it. You know, it's just nobody will ever believe. But and this is the thing is, guess what, guys? Hey, Dylan never told this to the cops. That's why Dylan's over here like, fuck you, motherfuckers. I never said this. I never said that I was doing this. These cops put this narrative in and they put Dylan in the worst spot. And if I'm Dylan, I would tell all these sackless pieces of shit. I'd come out after he fucking pleads guilty and says whatever. I would tell these cops to all fuck off. That you guys needed to close your case because you guys fucked up whatever it is that you guys all fucked up, but you threw me under the bus.
For a clean win.
Yeah, because she didn't say this. This isn't her narrative. This is their narrative.
And
I'm having Dylan back here. And people need to start having Dylan's back. You think Dylan's lying or do you think the cops are making shit up? Come on, folks. They need this.
Especially, see, this, I'm not even bullshitting you. Since I've heard your take on they were trolling the sorority, that it puts Dylan in a different light. A light that I would argue I've never really thought through.
Yeah,
I would have never thought that they're trolling them.
Oh, yeah.
So then when you think that, man, I don't even fucking know what to think because the working PCA was admitted to.
Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck about what Brian says. Let's listen to what this is. He says, there's a thud. And Murphy starts barking. This is the first time that we hear about the thud and Murphy together at the same time. Imagine that. Dylan shuts her door again. Fuck it. I opened it a fraction. Now I'm shutting it. Is she going crazy? Now there's silence again. She opens the door a third time. Oh, wait, that all happened in the first two times? So it's after the thud. They're trying to time this up. That's when she sees the firefighter. Look at this. And this is why they thought it was somebody in law enforcement, you guys, because immediately Dylan told everybody who she saw was a fucking firefighter, bitches. It wasn't something that happened like long later. Dylan thought that she saw a firefighter from jump. Isn't that crazy? This is what's in the book. Because this is Emily's version too, is that this is what the fuck was told to us, you know?
So when she says a firefighter, is it because of the suit or is it because she knows the guy?
She says,
no, you know what I'm asking though, like the details of it. Is it because she goes, she saw a firefighter? Is it because she knew somebody in the firefighting department? Or is it because they looked in the dark like a firefighter? I've always wondered that.
I just think that I don't believe any of, like, listen, they had I just want to hear, all I need to hear, you guys, is the Noonan's body cam. Once I get Noonan's body cam and I get his body cam from the time he arrived until 12:12, I will tell you that anything after that point, it could have been even before that point could have been whatever, but it's just whatever Dylan says in the first 12 minutes is all that matters. After that point, why it doesn't matter to any juror is because it could have been influenced in any type of way. That's all that matters. Is I need to hear things that weren't influenced. These people all slept at the same hotel. Then you guys ready for this? I never knew that Dylan was looking for a taser. So that's when she sees a firefighter. Yeah, that's when she sees a firefighter. Or at least blurry-eyed, that's what she thinks she sees. He's got bushy eyebrows. He's wearing a mask. He's holding he's holding a firefighting object. A bit like a vacuum. They make eye contact for a split second. She shuts her door and looks around for her taser. Here's me. What? These are my comments as I read this shit. I'm like, what? Then it says the battery is dead. I'm like, that's a vibrator, you mean? And then she's like, or then it says Bethany ? She tries calling her friend downstairs. I was like, no, actually, Bethany was calling her. Nothing. But then, thank God, Bethany phones her back. And I'm like, wait, what? Dylan tells her she thinks that she saw someone in black, mask. Their call lasts less than a minute. I'm like, that's got to be the 40-some second one. Dylan then calls Xana, no reply. She calls Kaylee, nothing. She calls Bethany again. They speak for 41 seconds. I'm like, wait a second. No. I was like, this is all fucked up because it was 41. This should be 26 or 26 and then 41. Dylan's breathing heavily. What? Who could tell you that? Either Dylan or Bethany, right? Or he's making it up. She's terrified. Either Dylan or Bethany, or he's making it up. Has she gone crazy? Well, that's just you asking a question, so we'll let that go. Is she hallucinating? Okay, we'll let that slide. Then Bethany phones Xana. She also gets no answer. Dylan tries Maddie, nothing. Bethany phones Ethan, nothing. At 4:22 a.m., and this is where I think this all comes into, hey, I wrote all this book. Oh my God, these new documents drop. I got to add this shit in. So this is where I think Patterson adds in. And he says, at 4:22 a.m., Dylan texts Bethany, the tragedy is obvious. Okay, no one is answering. Bitch, the fuck out of here. And then I'm really confused right now. She texts Kaylee again. Kaylee, what's going on? That wasn't again. That was the first time. There is still no reply. On the lower level, Bethany switches to Snap and then back again to text message. Well, how would you know that? This portion of it had to be written after just a couple months ago. She texts Dylan. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? Then Xana was wearing all black. It's a question. He's putting that in there. Xana was wearing all black. It's a question, not a statement. Oh, is it? Fuck you. That's your opinion. Or unless who's telling you that? You get what I'm saying? Like, who's your source on saying that? It either has to be them or there's only one person that could say that. Dylan replies to Bethany text to the former. We know all this, so he adds all that in. But check this part out. Right here. She's gonna make a run for it. At 4:24 a.m., can Dylan run? Is it safe? Dylan tries Ethan's cell one more time. She and Bethany have another quick exchange. Must be text because that is not a phone call. 4:27. She tries Kaylee again, then Xana. Still nothing. Dylan makes the decision to run. She sprints to Bethany's room. The two friends cling to one another. They keep trying to reach the roommates. Bethany tries Maddie twice, then Kaylee twice. That's not true. Dylan texts Kaylee. Bethany goes on Snap and Instagram looking for clues. I said, what? Looking for clues? Who's giving this?
This is where I'm just like, is this just narrative? Like, I get it.
Wait, but who is that means that we would be giving clues. I'm like, this is me. What? Giving clues. What? Nothing. 4:37. Exhausted and terrified, the two girls pass out.
I don't get it.
Neither of them falls into a deep slumber. Oh, is that because they were all on their phone? That's just his nice way of saying it, right? Bethany wakes at 7:30 a.m. And this is why I know that they did what they did. Because then he's like, and she calls her parents, telling them, listen to what Bethany says, telling them that both of her parents about the strange events of the night before. Wait, you don't say that Bethany calls her parents 4 times. And so then they have to call back. Okay. It's like, oh, I just called them at 7:30. Like they answered. No, they didn't. Okay. They don't, there's no answer then. That's not what happens. Okay. So, but hey, here's Bethany, or here's his version, telling them both about the strange events of last night. Maybe she tells herself Dylan just had a that's where he says maybe. So we know that like none of this is like, that's all his. So I X that out. Dylan comes to around 8 a.m. according to him, and also tells herself she had a very bad dream after drinking too much. What? She immerses herself on Instagram for a couple hours. Oh, does she, James? The house seems quiet, calm. She agrees with Bethany. She must have hallucinated. And this is telling me that I was right, you guys. Remember I told you that Bethany was going to tell fucking Dylan that she was just making this all up? Because I said, is there a chance that Bethany was using Dylan's phone? And I'm like, holy shit, this is nuts. Because here, Dylan's like, yeah, maybe I'm just going to agree with Bethany and say, yeah, right there, she agrees with Bethany. She must have hallucinated the whole thing. I'm like, what?
The dream and the hallucination, again, for as much as I speculate, that does seem like one thing where I could see, like, if you witness something, it could be like a trauma response.
You could maybe say that at fucking 4 a.m. You're not going to say that at 8 and 9
That's
in
so
the
true.
morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
And then here's this. They act like nothing's going on. James Patterson says around 10:23 a.m. Again, he was going to leave all of this out of the book. This shit right here was not going to be in this book. This shit got added because of the documents. Nobody wanted to talk about this. That's why I think it's interesting to hear from somebody like Emily Hunter. Hey, how do you feel now that you see this? Everything that Dylan told you, do you still feel like, what do you think about it? And they're going to say, if they're being honest, no, dude, that's nothing that she fucking said. She said that she made a run for it. There was no, I'm texting all this crazy shit. She made a run for it. She went downstairs and, you know, it was that. All these text messages, because according to Emily, when Dylan made a run for it and got downstairs, she's like, hey, did you hear all that shit? And according to Emily, what Bethany said was, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that is what is exculpatory for Brian Coburger. And that is what Ann Taylor wanted, because that's what Bethany told the police.
So then why take the plea?
I don't give a fuck why that asshole took the plea. I don't give a fuck about him. Okay. Fucking sit and spin. But when anybody wants to know why they wanted Bethany, is that's because why. Emily and Bethany were saying that whenever Dylan came to they were trying to make it seem like Dylan was the only one that heard of any of this, okay? And that when she got down to the bedroom, Bethany was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't hear it. What? No, I didn't hear anything. And that matters when you're talking about the time of the crime, the time frame.
Yes.
Because it seems like it was all made up for that time then. And that would be huge for the defense. It doesn't matter if it was Brian Coburger as the defense, whoever would be a defendant in this case, based off of what Bethany and Emily say, it is detrimental to the prosecution's case, period.
I agree. I totally agree. I've always thought that the rumor, quote unquote, that Bethany had exculpatory evidence, that doesn't just become a rumor. And then
it was
just fight the subpoena, and then she doesn't just, it holds weight after a while.
Yeah, it's So,
well, I'm excited to read that book.
I appreciate you coming on here. It's 3 hours and 21 minutes. Holy shit, we gotta go.
No. I appreciate you having me on. We should do
fun.
another one of these. You should come over to our or my stream, and then we can do like a co-stream. But no, thank you.
That'd be fun.
I enjoyed it. You inspired me to actually like buy the book. I'm gonna do my own.
I'm telling you, buy the book and then eliminate the things based off of, or just put it all in a time frame that you're like, this is what this person said. This is what this person said. This is what this person said. And that's how I look at it. Is like, I want all the sources, so then I'll help you all eliminate it.
No, it's great. It's great. And I'm glad that I took my however many fireball shots. I'm gonna sleep great tonight.
Oh, good. Tell your wife I said thank you.
I will. And yeah, let's do this again sometime. Thank you to everybody for tuning in.
I'll come on your show. Let's do it. We'll do it after tomorrow's the what is it for the hearing. We'll do it after that. Let's do it after that.
And then we got to plan our golf outing or your golf outing. I got to provide the shots for it.
Yes, golf outing. I love it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yep. Cheers.
Okay, bye, buddy.
Yep. Good night.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. Give it up. We're all gagged. What do you guys think? Damn, 3 hours only felt like 8. Speedy recovery. Speedy recovery. $11:40 is time for bed. What do you guys think? Let's see. We'll go backwards. Lana is the bomb. Please for the win. Showalter's sister said, leave Jack alone. He was asked with keeping an eye on them. You must remember that Atlanta other one. She made a public statement. Yeah, that didn't age well then for her, I guess. I don't know what to say. Thank you for the membership. I love you, Phil. Lana and Birdie, this makes me so happy. Thank you. It makes us so happy too. This is great, guys. The highlighter of my day. Cheers. Right back at you. What's up, Miss Harris? How's the dentist going? You doing well over there? You two together is my YouTube dream come true. Hopefully it's a wet dream. Jackie. AT said BK preoccupied with DP. Couldn't assist in his case. What? Maybe. I don't know. I think he just took a... I mean... he took a deal. I know why he took the deal. He's going to have a cakewalk in prison, and he thinks that he's going to be able to help like the police and work from inside. I mean, you guys, I believe that his rights, aka our rights, were violated for this to all go down. Okay? It does not mean that I think that he was innocent. And if it means that he would go free because of that, so be it. And that's just what happens. And that sucks. Because as a parent, I'd want to wring his neck, but this is how innocent people, though, get framed. Harris says, BT said his car was taken apart. No. His car was taken apart after, like, once they got it. Do they have photos of how the car? I'm sure they have all those photos. Yeah, there was nothing in it. I don't think that car was there. In fact, I don't think it was at all there. That's the problem. How soon after the gag is lifted for Psy? Oh, as soon as it's lifted. What about other DNA? Anne told Hitler because BK was mentally healthy enough to help with his defense. What about other DNA? There's a lot of DNA at that crime scene. There's 3 other males. Again, you're not going to see me sit up here and tell you that Brian Coburger is innocent. It's just not going to happen. What you're going to hear from me is that I don't believe that our rights should be violated, and I don't believe that the FBI should just be able to have free reign. And I definitely don't believe that fucking labs and forensic science right now, forensic science should be independent, okay? If forensic science is getting bought out in monopolies with the fucking FBI, we are in trouble, y'all. And that's what I tried to show you guys the other night. And it matters. It's bad. Let's see. If Brian was just going to admit guilt for when he chooses him guilty of plea right at the start. No. No. I don't know. No, I don't think that. I think his lawyers, he had lawyers right off the rip. Lana Lou, two of my favorite. Oh, thank you. Carson, what are you doing out there? What are you doing out there? Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Oh, well, it's bedtime. I appreciate it, Birdie. Lana, you said this is what causes the divide. LOL. Don't leave us hanging. What causes the divide? This book right here. This book causes us to divide. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I think it's at, what time is it at? 10. So I think I'm going to go live at 11:30 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, 11:30. Bill Thompson says, lift the gag order. Somebody better put a microphone in his face. Don't make me travel to Boise to do it. So Bill Thompson says he's good to go. So let's do it. What do you think? I agree with Bill. Let's have at it. Ann Taylor says, I don't want it lifted. Well, sorry, Ann. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. Take that new mic to Boise, Lana, and shove it up someone's ass. You guys rock. Thank you so much. If you have an opinion, make yourself known. Thumbs it up or thumbs it down. I will never tell you how to think or how to feel. But right here, Bill Thompson says, Willie says, upon further reflection, the state withdraws its request. Now the defendant has pleaded guilty. We are totally cool with you fucking asking us how we are fucking horrible at our jobs. We have no problem with it. Please bring all of your questions in rain suits because I may have an orgasm. Again, now the defendant has pleaded guilty as charged to all 5 counts of the indictment. His right to a fair trial on the issue of guilt is still longer an issue. Nevertheless, though, out of respect for the integrity of the judicial process and the privacy of the victims, look at that's like a stab at Steve and their families. They consider their rights to provide victim impact statements at sentencing. So the prosecution team does not intend to make any public statements about this case until after sentencing has concluded. That means they are not talking at sentencing. This is a way that I think, this is why I think Steve Gonsalves needs to go. Please, Steve, I'm telling you, rethink about not showing up to that. The rest of your life, man, you're going to probably regret not doing it. So just go. We regret, like, just go, man. Just go. I'm telling you, just go. That's all I got to say as a parent. Just go. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Until next time, tomorrow morning.